the government bought up a bunch of the surplus and everything to keep the economy going. And one of the things that they bought in surplus was cheese. Um, so the government bought all this cheese, but it is such a metric, just whole
Fuck ton.
unit of cheese that it was just impossible for consumers to just have that much cheese. So they didn't have, it's like, what are you going to do with all this cheese? So the solution was to store it in these mountains. And so there are these mountains, I believe, in the East Coast that are just completely filled with cheese.
Didn't bother ever
Um,
doing anything with any of it. They
No.
just
Just
No, no, no.
release some of
Is
it.
this
in all
cheese
its
actually like preserved in any way, or
Maybe some of it.
Doubtful.
I don't think so.
is there a hidden cheese kingdom we don't know of?
It
A
sounds
hidden
like
cheese
storage
kingdom.
is
this
does
a
require
Fallout
like
mission?
specific like set like environments like humidity and whatever. So like
This sounds like we just put as much cheese out of sight and out of mind as possible.
yeah, it's like a like hide it beneath the earth.
Literally.
No
Man's
one
folly should
must
never
know
be
of our
seen.
kingdoms of gold cheese.
Yeah.
like there's a warning on the entrance, like be warned ye who enter here.
You are about to enter a stinky place.
A dank and stinky place.
Beware you who crack the rind.
It reminds me of that episode of K&D where number 5 goes searching for the lost flavor of ice cream. Does anybody else remember that? Is that just me?
I mean, I
Which
watched
one?
that show, but
K&D?
Kids Next Door. I watched that
Oh.
show, but it was so long ago.
When number 5 goes to find the magical 4th flavor, because everybody knows that there's 3 main flavors of ice cream: vanilla,
Sprinkle.
chocolate, and strawberry.
Jimmy's.
Yep, and then she goes to find the mystical 4th flavor, and then she's got to answer the riddle with the golden scoop, and it's like, what is the flavor of the day? And the flavor of the day, which also is ironically today, because the flavor is Sunday. And then allows her to go in, and then she gets to taste the magical 4th flavor after the delightful children from down the lane corrupt a bunch of the ice cream by putting jimmies and / or sprinkles, but who the fuck calls them jimmies except for the delightful children from down the lane?
Yeah.
People from the East Coast.
Exactly.
I'm getting the sense that Dom, you could do a whole K&D like podcast.
I
and
watched a
just
lot of K&D, yes.
Have hundreds of episodes.
Today we're talking about the mystical 4th flavor. Okay, everybody, we're here. I've got food that I can casually eat whilst not having to talk. These French fries are fantastic because I got them.
Right. Oh my god. Did you get the cup or did you get the tray?
I don't need a tray of fries.
What?
You don't need a trough of fries?
Sorry,
Exactly.
nope. I have moved away from my early childhood of being poor and eating like a trough of food because I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Nowadays, I just choose to not eat most of the time, which is self-inflicted. It's okay. So, my eating habits aside, when we last left our adventures, we came off the cusp of our last big mission. People got tattoos. There was lots of different conversations had, different visits to different stores, just a lot of the upkeep needed. But the real crux of our last adventure was as Reyn returned after taking some time at some stores, was approached by Glevith of the Welcomers and handed a message from the Grey Patriots to Sahnd Kruelek, explaining some of the current machinations of the Zenitrim. The party then deliberated on what to do with the information that they had gained and decided to invite Chab over for some cider tasting and try to get to the bottom of it. So Alder left a ciphered note to Chab, explaining, you know, inviting and explaining what had happened. Trying to think. Was there anything else we missed before, Chab? I don't feel like we did.
I don't think anything.
I think that was really the big part. It was a lot of deliberation on that one. I think that was really the big crux. Ooh, you did get you did get a heads up from Philistrum Wonder Condoodle, who gave you the cipher, but also let you guys know that the score juice sample that you had given him was so marvelous that it is taking a combined effort of both Philistrum Wonder Condoodle and the Lord Sage of Phlan, who together have figured out that it is made from raw fluid from Limbo, the plane of pandemonium, for other words. That something is that the energies of Limbo seem to be physically changing the fauna, and that whatever is going on north, typically, historically, would be from the Silver Pyramid of Sorcerer Isle, which that's a mouthful, from a wizard, Yaresh, who used to experiment with such things, but was driven out 150 years ago by none other than Phlan's local hero of the time and of legend, Run Blades. So that information was given, and further investigations will most likely be needed. The party got dinner ready, checked in on the cider, which was pretty good but needed to be grounded with something. And Chab did arrive for the tasting. It was a tense conversation, to say the least. The party eventually showed Chab the intercepted letter, who proceeded to crumple it up and throw it into a fire. And after some choice words were had back and forth, the R-Dragon of the Zenitrim instructed that Sahnd Kruelek to be brought in alive and turned over to the Zenitrim for further questioning about what Sahnd Kruelek knows about what's going on in the city. There was a definite lack of some of the details the party would have liked, and the first time many of the party had met Chab, the R-Dragon of the Zenitrim, not Chab, the AO of the Laughing Goblin. The party then retired for the evening. We'll kind of return back to it. You guys have interviews set up with Lila and Gerda, who are there fresh in the morning. I would say you guys probably have, 2 or so hours before then, so if you can either make breakfast, get together, decide how you guys want to conduct these interviews. I'd say, they're going to come.
What's the situation with Corey?
With Corey, Corey, in the evening, Corey did leave a note. She has gone off to complete her side of her Fey deal. She now knows the location of where this golden stag is and is currently off to go find this. You guys, as she is signed on the lease, however, all of her things are more or less there, but mostly Corey didn't have a lot of things. She has taken the loot with her as well, and is off to go fulfill her side of whatever the Prince of Frost desires from her.
So is her room technically vacant?
It is indeed vacant.
Okay, well, we have that to offer to our
Older.
employee.
No.
Or older. I forgot. Or you're not sleeping in the house.
Our live-in receptionist.
Nah, man.
She lives in a
study
lux-ass
room's
room.
great. Yeah. I got a chair.
That is something to
Got a couch.
consider.
Couch in there, I was saying.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, no, that is the question. Because yeah, Alder, you are more than welcome to
Yeah.
start staying here if you want to. Realistically, then, if you're not totally comfortable over at the Zenitrim Estate anymore, but that is a potentially
Yeah.
keen offer to provide to a potential employee too. But Alder, like we said, you're more than welcome to stay here.
I appreciate it on that one. I'll think on it a little bit. I don't quite mind the couch, and if I need another place to get away, actually can stay at the library now and again too. So my bouncing back and forth between these, I feel like.
Okay. Well then, we have an open room in the house, I suppose. Then, when my dad would be hiring mercenaries, he and his closest counsel, they, have the standard questions that they would ask people, but they would always find something that each of them cared about looking for in an applicant to join our crew, and I think that's a decent way of going about things. Each of us deciding on, a particularly important question or something that we can have them do to try and show if they're a fit. It's a little different when you're hiring for a man, I am tired. When you're hiring for a receptionist slash take care of our books position and not for an actual adventurer. But it's still something to think about because, I mean, I'd rather have them get along with all of us than only get along with some of us. But should be simpler than that, I hope. Does anybody have any particular things that, well, I mean, we know that both of them should be fully capable and taking care of, like, the basis of what we're looking for, correct?
Yeah, true.
So it's figuring out which personality fits better. And
Yeah.
also, hopefully, realistically, I would like to do right by Jeeves, but
Yeah.
we still need to talk to both of them for sure.
Maybe.
I feel that.
Never mind.
Some of the
If you
couple
have-
of key things that I have listed too that we are looking for, if you want to ask about, is one, they got to be okay with manning the building, especially when we're outside. Two, they do need some math skills. Also, a dragon with an X through it. So no Cult of the Dragon, everybody.
And yeah, I mean,
Right.
obviously they need to be literate, but I don't think that'll be a problem.
Well, if they applied for the position, I
Right.
assume that they are.
They passed the test.
And from what Gerda had told us, she's prefers doing that kind of bookkeeping kind of stuff when she can and everything. So I presume that she can do math and languagey things. But that might be a decent question to ask. Is specifically what kind of languages each individual speaks. That's useful information. Broader the better, I suppose, because I only know how to speak to dwarves and common folk. Yeah, I mean, it should be relatively simple, I guess. I'm just waiting for them to come on over. I think when is curfew lifted? Dom, is it sunrise?
It is. So from sunset to sunrise is when curfew is.
Got it.
Right now we are entering kind of the end of summer, kind of the beginning of autumn, what we would here in Arizona call starting to hit that monsoon season. So very similar to where we're at right now, but in Phlan. Also, as a point for me, and I think maybe just for everybody, so Reyn, I know you speak Common and Dwarvish. Alder, you speak Common and Primordial. What other languages?
Yes.
Just those two?
Yeah, it's just those two for me.
You do also have comprehend languages to help you with that, and same with me.
Yes.
Çiaran, you speak Elvish and Common?
And halfling.
Elvish, Common, and Halfling. Good to know,
And
dude.
and Druidic technically, right?
Yes, and Druidic.
And the language of the Druids, yes, of course. And then Gelt, you speak Draconic, Common.
He speaks so many surprising languages.
Yeah, common, elf, dwarvish, and draconic.
Wow!
The studied man of Tyr.
He's an acolyte.
That's right.
Well, not much to do except to
To read and to talk to people.
yeah, and occasionally swing some swords. Okay, good to know. Thank you for all of that. That will be helpful for me, and I think maybe for you guys in the future. So,
Definitely.
I will say, though they'll show up at different times, it's whenever you guys are ready for those interviews. We'll say the time is coming.
Cool. Reyn is before the interview gonna go on a run to just kind of clear his head and get a kind of idea of the mood of the city this morning, I guess.
You go for a run, Reyn. Do you want to head? I guess since we have the map, do you want to go?
Yeah, I can pull that up real quick. Give me just a sec.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me what your kind of track is. You know, the city is, mid-sized, so it's not like, 2 minutes and you're from one side to the other. But, with your constitution and strength, all things considered, you can, you've got the body to run whatever kind of gauntlet
Yeah.
you want.
So, because we're the green patch that's right above. What is that?
I think that's
Holden
Holden Way.
Yeah, Holden Way. Yeah.
Yes, you guys are the green patch. That is the
Got
lost
it.
and found lot.
Let me open this up so I can get.
Or
a
the
better-
lost and found plot. Take your pick.
I was gonna say we're the lost and found lot.
So basically,
+1
Reyn-
for pun.
Thank you.
yeah, he'd be sticking to like this portion of the city, but I'd take Holdenhane, what is that? West or Haldane Way west, and then up the mezzanine to basically, I guess that would technically be, if I'm following the line, Torath March, and then down Axamar Lane, and then down that last lane that's to the right and back around to the house. So just a big circuit.
Okay, so yeah, you're staying in more of kind of the residential areas.
Yeah.
Some of the as you get closer and you go Holdown Way, eventually get down to Podal Street. That's where a lot of the nobility and like the big shops, of course, Mantor's library is over there as well. That's the E building, so that's the one with the red squares, just because it's such a massive place.
Mm-hmm.
So you go around. It's early. You can already, in the distance hear, some of the metal workers' shops. The sound of the early forges getting relit. It's a chilly morning. Now that's between the Moonsea and just the freshness of it. It's quiet. The most you see is black fists. A couple of them nod to you. A couple of them scowl, but you are well within curfew. You see a couple. You see a couple of other people milling about. When you first start, it's very quiet. There's not a ton of people out. You're pretty much the only one out there. As you come back around, you can hear more people are getting up. You can smell some of the bakeries, especially as you pass by. You would pass by Madame Ferona's on this route, and you can kind of smell that. And plus, that place is for the most part always open. It's a weird feeling because you're in martial law, but besides the Black Fist patrols, this could be any other morning. There's no. It's so early and there's so few people out. You're like, if I didn't know any better, this could just be a normal morning.
Cool.
As you get closer back to it and people start milling about, it's almost as if the city just never gets to its normal volume. You know, the city is always at like a temperate, if it's like a scale like a 6 or 7, like I had something for this for 6 or 7. I don't have something for this. Come back to me later on it. But
Got
it's very muted. It's very
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves right now.
it. Got it. I understand that. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's not entirely surprising to Reyn, but he has needed to do some physical activity to just feel himself after last night. So feels a lot better after that.
You have noticed that that the Red Plume's mercenary headquarters. You knew back when you guys were first in Phlan that place is pretty lively, pretty active, because the Red Plumes are a pretty well-known mercenary group in the Moonsea. But the Phlan headquarters has parts of it have been boarded up. It seems much smaller. You knew back when you first saw it. I mean, there's always people out fighting and trading and all sorts of stuff. But the Red Plumes is much more quiet and kind of boarded up at this point, which is yeah. Go ahead.
Like almost like abandoned almost, or just completely
Almost.
downsized.
It's like at so Jacob and Ryan would know this, but there's this movie theater up on our side of town called AMC 30, and it used to have 30 theaters. After the economy crashed in 2008, they boarded off and closed down half of it. So only half of that movie theater is open and running. It's very similar here. It just looks like it's just completely downsized in time. There's just not a ton of Red Plumes there anymore, which was never the case in your time hanging out in Phlan before your step out of time.
Yeah, yeah, Red could only assume, and just thinking as a mercenary, that if the adventuring market dried up, the mercenary market probably dried up pretty decently as well.
That's a fair insight. I'm actually roll me history since you are a mercenary.
You got it. That's a 14.
A 14. You know that the Red Plume's main headquarters is in Hillsfar. That's
Is that still in our region?
that is on the other side of the Moonsea. Hillsfar is kind of at the very tip of the Cormanthor forest. Hillsfar is one of so there's Hillsfar, Malvance, Mulemaster, the ruins of Zentil Keep. There's one other city. I've got them all pulled up here. Thentia and Holberg. Those are kind of the Moonsea region. Although as you get to Melvant, Thentia, and Holberg, those are in technically they're in a place called Thar, but they do line up the Moonsea. Hillsfar and Mulemaster are on the south side of things. Hillsfar is Phlan. It makes Phlan look very warm and friendly by comparison. It's a hard place. They still have the Church of Bane is still very active in Hillsfar. Much like many places of the Moonsea still have a very active Baneite religion to them. But their main
That's a rough religion.
indeed it is, especially, and everybody would know this, that Bane, the god Bane, was resurrected right before the Second Sundering. Just like in Baldur's Gate, I believe, it's not Belial. It's another one of the gods of murder, was also resurrected. So the dark gods are very much still alive and well. So Hillsfar is one of those places, and you're thinking that, especially with the downsize, that it's looking like most of them probably got called back to Hillsfar.
Yeah, with as rough as that city is and that region is in general, there probably something happened to them. Rough. Okay. Well, I might check in on see how they're doing at some point, but that's not what today's about.
Yep, just something to notice on your run.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, never a bad time to get some world build.
It's honestly why I like to do stuff like that as a player for my DMs, is give you a chance to throw stuff at us. So
So that's what's going on with the Red Flames. You return
Cool.
back. Gelt, what are you making for breakfast?
All right, we're going pretty basic today. Just gonna be usually some bacon, eggs, sausage. Yeah, throw some grits on there.
Roll with advantage and
And
see
what-
how your breakfast comes out.
What dice is there? They are. $20 on that.
20. Gelt, Gelt, you have breakfast set up not only for the party, but for your interviewees as well. You know, you're like, I'm going to make it casual. But then, you've got people coming, and you want to make a good impression, and, you feel a little bit off today, so you really put your effort into it, and party, Gelt brings out food, and it's incredible. This is a great breakfast. This is really the way to start day. Especially, Reyn, as you come back, you're like, oh, I got a hunger. And you walk in, and you get hit with that, that Sunday morning breakfast with the fam. It just...
Ugh.
anybody who is asleep is still sleeping is awoken up by this. It fills the whole house.
Yes.
nice. Thank you, Gelt. That work you're putting in is really paying off. It seems.
Been trying. Skylar's really been helping me get along.
Good. I'm glad it's working out. It's always a. You never go looking for a cook to be a part of your crew, but as soon as you have one, you literally look for one every single time you're putting a crew together.
Oh,
So,
seriously,
It helps
I
a lot.
didn't know we were missing until I started cooking.
Especially with your background, Gelts, in the waiting. It's just, you're like... It's almost... you almost feel a little guilty how well you eat nowadays. Just because you're like, man... Bacon, eggs, grits, sausage. You'd be lucky if you had like one part of this every day for like 5 days. Nonetheless, having it all together.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
man, it's been a long time since the day of porridge for breakfast and lunch.
And if there was a lunch,
Yep, that's what coming up in the world is.
Got some money in the pocket now.
So you all have breakfast, and as you guys are probably about halfway through, you do hear a knock at the door.
Cool. Reyn will go get the door. I like to be the intro.
yeah.
You open the
Sound like
door,
it.
and there are two women there, exactly who you're expecting. To the right is Gerda Greenleaf. She is dressed in. She is what one would describe as overly dressed for the occasion. She has a full gown on in various shades of green and black. You can. It is looking very much as if Jeeves and the Zenitrim have decked her out. They are clearly clothes that Gerda is not used to moving around in. Her hair is done. She looks more similar to going to an evening party rather than to a job interview. Lila, on the other hand, is perfectly dressed for the occasion. She is wearing what we would call the Faerun equivalent of a pantsuit, which can actually be pretty much a pantsuit. She is, even though it has been 5 years and she is a human, she looks exactly the same as the last time you saw her when she was running administration for the so-called estates. She has black hair that is done in a very tight bun, very just casual silver jewelry on. She has brown eyes, olive, light skin, though she is a little bit paler than Gerda in many respects. And they are both there in the morning. They seeming to have just finished up a small chat between the two of them.
I was on mute.
Red, come in. Say something,
Just
Red.
Rain's just staring them at them, just
Just big smile and saucer plate eyes. No, I'm just kidding. Well, good morning, ladies. Good to see the both of you. Come on in. I know it's a little well, kind of chilly. I know not necessarily, but come on in. Do we have Gelt? Did you just make breakfast for us?
No.
There's breakfast.
I expected them. There's plenty.
But yeah, he lets them in.
they both come in, and Gerda says hi to you all again, and Lila, in comparison, respectfully nods and says, "Thank you, but I've already had breakfast with my wife. Thank you very much."
Oh,
It's fine. We'll give it to the bird.
no, he just eats eyes.
As soon as you say that, you hear a pecking at kind of one of the windows. You know that there is one that leads to your kitchen that Greenhawks does perch on occasionally.
You do.
Oh, speaking of Gelt.
Yeah, let him in. Give him what he wants.
And he just hops in. You know that he doesn't really like walk over anything. He does more controlled hops, and he hops in. It just already. 1 second there's a plate full of food for Lila. The next second there is an empty plate of nothing in there because Greenhawk has eaten it all, and then hops up and takes kind of a perch on the wooden arm of one of the chairs you have in your living, and just kind of looks at you, Çiaran.
Oh, I love this hawk.
They barely even said anything. It just came on down.
I don't know why anybody shushes Greenhawks. He's never spoken.
Yeah,
Nope, he's the quietest hawk in the world.
it's true.
It's quite lovely.
Gerda takes this plate and she's 100% into it. She actually kind of forgets that the rest of you and is just going at it. She could see that parts of her hair are kind of falling into it, and she at one point she eats a chunk of it and is like pulls it back.
I love her.
Oh God, Jesus, just going down.
So Lila, while Gerda is eating, says, "So are we just going to have the interviews here, or is there a room?"
Well, yeah. Let's. So, Dom, our study room, is that big enough that it'd be comfortable to have the four of us and the applicant in there together?
It would.
I mean, it's mostly standing room, but
It would be standing room for you all, but you could definitely all get in there just fine.
yeah, I think that might be the best place to conduct the interview, because that's going to be the kind of place where our applicants are going to be a lot of the time. Give them a chance to see what they're getting into while we ask questions. Plus, the as he sides to the party, the shock and awe factor of how much work we put into that room might just set them off their kilter a little bit for this question asking process.
Yeah, the study is actually one of the larger rooms in there. The only rooms bigger being your big living room and the master bedroom upstairs.
Cool.
So yes, it's a sizable room, and so there's plenty for all of you guys to get in there and have Lila sit. It's actually the
Perfect.
same size as Çiaran's room.
I trust
Alright.
you all to ask questions if I feel like it might be a little overwhelming for someone to be interviewed in a small room by four standing people.
Well then,
Hey.
Çiaran, then why don't you speak with our applicants while they're out here? Though
Oh,
Lila may just leave afterwards, who knows? But still, that might be a decent idea, or at least get a read on them. However you feel like. Cool. Well then, I guess we'll turn to Lila. We'll the three of us, me, Gelt, and Alder. We'll start with you. I didn't want to do like a interview with the two of you at the same time or anything, but we have our study right there to the right.
Thank you. And she enters into the study, and she looks around. Oh, this is quite nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did put a fine penny to make sure this one was a little bit special.
It's a fine collection of books, although your choice is a bit of a history buff.
You're learning to be one, right, Alder?
I would say I'm becoming a lot more established these days. Always room to grow, of course, but
Yeah.
I think we got a good library nowadays.
We're still working on fleshing it all out, but yeah, we decided as far as a professional establishment goes, we wanted this particular room to be well put together.
Well, you have been successful. This is rather well put together.
Thank you. Please have a seat. I am still basically going to be eye to eye, regardless of whether you're sitting or standing. So that's fine. But yeah, welcome. We appreciate you answering the call for assistance with our organization.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
It is
How have you?
nice to
Go
see
ahead.
you all again.
Yeah, I was
Although
about to ask. It's
you
been
weren't blue
quite
and had a
some time.
beard last time.
Yeah, there's been several misadventures since the last time we saw you. How have the past 5 years treated you? I know that we kind of slipped out of time for a second there, so but you look, everything considered, you look fantastic.
Thank you. Since the last 5 years, well, as you all know, after the murder on Thorn Island at So-Called Keep, the House of So-Called had a bit of an identity crisis between the lost profits from the lighthouse and the distrust between House So-Called and the Blackfists at the time. There was an reversal of many positions there, including mine. For a while there, it looked like House So-Called might absolutely collapse on itself, but 2 years ago, they came into quite a bit of money and some patronage with some members of the city. However, my position was not reinstated. Luckily,
Okay.
my wife is part of the Weavers Guild. In fact, I can see that your member out there is actually wearing a cloak made by my wife.
Oh, wow.
I'd notice her stitching anywhere. So, you already know that I've spent quite a bit of time working as the lead administrator for House of Call. I am multilingual. I can read and write in Common, Elven, Dwarvish, Halfling, and I am working on my Draconic. I
Very
find it
nice.
to be a rather harsh language.
Yes.
Gelt's our resident Draconic speaker right now when we're out in the field. He it always sounds so weird coming out of your mouth, Gelt.
My accent's pretty bad.
I mean, you managed to keep Bogclaw on his toes.
I did. Bogclaw's friend.
Sorry, we met a king of lizard folk recently. Not the kindest gentleman, but you know, allies is what you get.
Interesting.
Yeah, we do. We get into a lot of weirdness, seeing as we're an adventuring guild. But what aside from current lack of employment, any particular reason you are interested in potentially working for the Lost and Found?
Well, I would not have applied had I not done some research into who you all were and was able to put it together that I had already encountered you all, and you did leave quite an impression last time we spoke. It is very close to home, actually closer than my last place of employment, and if we're going to be quite honest, I know that there is great money to be made in an adventurer's guild. I am fairly competent. In fact, I would say I'm perhaps overly competent for some of your needs at the time. However, I believe that's an opportunity for expansion and growth rather than stagnation.
Interesting. Okay. I like that answer.
Huh.
Now, I do have some questions for you.
Of course.
What does this position actually look like? While this study is impressive, I would like to know what your guild permit looks like, what this establishment, is it privately owned, or are you currently working on finances, as well as how it is that you employ, well, quite honestly, I would like to know almost all of your clerical insights.
Before. Okay. Interesting. We're currently working on owning this establishment where I had to take out a loan to be able to get the building, but that is well on its way. I suppose the main duties of this position are things like keeping the books, making sure the money that we have in the safe is, getting to pay rent on time and things like that. We will need you to interact with any potential clients who are showing up while we are out on adventures and things like that, and not like be a caretaker to the place or anything, but make sure it doesn't burn down while we're gone. I mean,
Yeah.
do we have much in the way of like physical books at this point, Alder?
I'm pretty sure we would at this point, right, Dom? Like we
At
would start
least
amassing
our-
Since you
I
have,
hope so, yeah.
As far as like our debt to the Zenitrim and stuff.
yes,
We've
you
only been
have
here for
all
a
of
couple
your
payments anyways.
yes, you have all of your financial paperwork, your paperwork with the through the Lord Regent to operate as an adventurers guild. You do have a fine collection of the history of Phlan, including books like Cults of the Moonsea.
And by books, I was doing the colloquial phrase of like our
Your paperwork?
finance books.
Finance.
Yes, you do have finances. They are rather simple. Really, you just have a bunch of stacks of papers which you know are important, which is about the extent of your guys' clerical expertise
Yeah.
right now. So in your safe, there are money and a big stack of papers.
Yeah. Another
So
thing
we've
I
been-
should.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a couple other things that I should point out, too, just for a little more clarification. On top of sorting out some of that paperwork, you will see I am one who does tend to log and journal a lot of our findings and informations on these areas, and you can even see some of it correlating to the map, so I will want some assistance just with making sure we got everything sorted out there, everything transcribed. Another thing, too, as we did mention, we do have all sorts of people that come in and out with requests, and well, you can imagine we get quite the characters, but we also get some as high up as the Lord Sage himself. So do be prepared. We do have a wide variety, including some pretty esteemed guests here as well.
That is
He's not wrong.
That is more than acceptable. I have met the Lord Sage on an occasion or two. House Sokal is a noble house, so I am no stranger to dealing with both the highs and lows of all the many citizens of Phlan.
Good to know.
So, to be completely honest, we do what I like to call adventure economics, where we figure out the gold while we're on the trail, and then really don't write it down a whole lot of the time, except for the stuff that we're actually paying on things that are, legally binding and whatnot.
Interesting. I perhaps think that is foolhardy where I'm coming from, but as long as your rent is paid and those finances are put together, I would be happy to draw up a budget not only for rent but for other utilities, groceries, and of course, payment for myself. Whatever
You
you
know,
add to
a
that
little-
would be, well, up to you. While I will be helping you run your clerical duties, the large decisions will, of course, be up to you all.
Of course. Well, you seem to have an idea of what you're getting into, or at the very least, are just very, very good at what you do on a baseline. Interesting. Um, I mean, you can see some of our books and stuff like that if you want, or some of our info if you want to. But like I'd said, not a whole lot of it financially. But Alder, Gelt, do you have any particular questions for Miss Sokol?
Oh, you guys honestly nailed it.
Well, wonderful. I would like to say that...
Oh, Ryan.
Yes.
Ooh, I would unplug and replug your mic. You're getting a lot of static and stuff from your side.
Sorry. Hold on. Let me leave.
Hold.
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 Is this coming across any better right now?
Yes.
Considerably.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Don't know what
No
happened.
worries.
It's good.
Happens technology.
Um,
I believe where we last left off was if you had any questions you wanted to ask Lila at this time. Alder.
Reyn
Yeah.
would ask, what's your just kind of as a general question because of the way things are with life right now. What's your opinion about how everything's going on in Phlan right now?
How everything is going,
The kind of civil unrest and martial law and everything. Just curious of your opinion. I've been trying to get a read of the city with everybody I talk to.
I have had misgivings of the Black Fist in the past, namely because of the incident on Thorn Island at Sokol Keep. Ian Sokol was a very educated and very kind young man, and it was at their hands that he was murdered, so I have not always held the Black Fist in the highest regard. However, I do find the Lord Regent to be an honorable and respectful man, and while some Black Fists may take advantage of that honor and commitment to the Order, the Lord Regent has done nothing but help improve the city. So, if his life and members, even of House Sokol, have been put in danger because of the recent assassinations from those Grey Patriots, which I find to be the worst of the Black Fists, then I am not surprised, nor does it bother me much, that the Lord Regent has taken a harder stance in Phlan.
Do you think of the Grey Patriots as an extension of the Black Fist to some degree?
I think they're an extension of all the worst parts of the Grey Patriots. Or the Black
Or of the
Fists.
Black Fist? Okay. That's a very... I think that's a good way to look at it to some degree. They like to think of each other as separate entities, but at the end of the day, they all came from the same place, I suppose, just with, well, different ways of doing things, and nobody agrees with assassination in this room, I don't think.
Yes, while the Black Fists have made mistakes since the Lord Protector passed away, they have made a lot of improvements, at least under the Lord Regent's careful eye, and the Grey Patriots, in my personal opinion, are highwaymen and bandits who like to think that they are much more than that.
I appreciate your candor. Thank you for being honest with us. It's always nice to be able to get the opinion of people that live in this city. I may not be local, but I'm particularly fond of Phlan in my days now.
I'm a law-abiding citizen of Phlan, and when laws are followed, Phlan prospers.
Yep, everybody just wants things to get back to normal. Though, the way the city felt this morning on my run, it feels way more normal than it should in this residential area of town. But I digress. As a kind of adventurer's question, have you ever gotten into any kind of strange misadventures in your day? Run into any monsters, anything like that? Just curious.
I must say that I tend to stay inside the boundaries of Phlan. I have had my run-ins, of course, with different ruffians, but I am competent not just in my literacy, but also in protecting myself. So, whilst I cannot say that I have been or ever will be an adventurer, I can say that it would be a fool's errand to try to accost me on the street.
I like to hear that. Good for you. Well, good for you know what? No, I think more people should be willing to take their protection into their own hands. You never know if somebody who can defend you is going to be close enough. You might as well be ready. Good on you.
Well, I'm sure you would all understand. Now, as we come to a close, I would like to say that my pay through House O'Call was reduced for quite some time due to the straits of the house, to only 5 silver a day to run all of their clerical business. I would very much like to make more than that and would be willing to offer my services daily, as 1 gold per day I work here. That would be,
Okay.
I think, more than fair, and I would be willing to help in any and all things. I will let you know that I do not accept lived-in conditions. I do have a wife and a family and my own property. However, it is just up the way, only a 10-minute walk, but I will be still staying with my wife during this time.
That is absolutely understandable. Fantastic. Well, unless the boys have any other specific questions or comments, it was an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I don't think we're gonna be coming to a decision like right away, so feel free to hang out for a little bit in our in the living room if you want to and everything. But we will be getting in contact with you once we've made our decision.
Yes, I'm supposed to be assisting Gerda back to her estate. She's still a little new around the city, and yes, well, she was escorted here. I don't know if she's going to be escorted back. She doesn't
Got
seem
it.
very familiar with Phlan.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, of course. Thank you all very much. And she stands and shakes each one of your hands, and it's a powerful grip. Surprisingly powerful.
All right.
And she enters in. Çiaran, while this is going on, Gerda is kind of messily eating food, just kind of bebopping, enjoying.
She's fucking adorable. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, Siren just doesn't have a lot to say to her, honestly, so unless she strikes up conversations, yes.
Messing with your hawk.
Boys. Yeah.
How are you liking Phlan?
Yeah. Siren's not the small talk.
No. If Siren speaks, it usually has important implications.
While Gerda is eating, Gelt, how did you make the bacon? Are you a crispy bacon person or are you a soggy bacon person?
I'm like an in-between. It's hard to get it that way too, crispy on the outside with a little bit of meatiness on the inside. But it was pretty crispy. It was crispy though.
It's crispy.
Chris.
'Cause that's how it goes.
Crispy.
Gerda picks it up and it kind of looks around and then sees Green Hawks, who is just leans in.
She gets
you-
it already.
Kid just kind of holds out the bacon and Greenhawks with just one hop is now on the table, and hops right back. It's back to his perch. Huh. I didn't know. Hawks ate bacon.
Hawks hate bacon?
No, 8.
Oh.
That's a weird way to show you hate bacon by eating it.
Spite hate. Dogs do it all the time. I don't want you to have this, so I'm gonna have it.
If I can't have it, nobody can. So nice place you got.
Thank you. It's a nice dress you've got.
You think so? I really don't like it, to be honest. I think this is a lot, but
It's a bit.
was
It's extravagant, yes.
yeah, no, when the hair, G's got me up early, and they've got the whole servants thing. Was like, I need to make a really good impression, and I need to like stay here. And can I be honest with you?
Absolutely.
I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to. I don't like ever staying in one place, and if I start this, then Jeeves is gonna want me to stay here all the time, and I know he's worried after that last bit, I get it, but like, Jeeves really likes to stay in one place. Jeeves likes his gardens. Saris really likes his orchard, but I like everything in between.
Yeah. You
I-
do you, girl. Don't let anyone tell you what to do.
I don't want to upset Jeeves. He really does care a whole lot. It's just, honestly, I really like working at Romson's, and I like traveling around kind of the Moonsea and all that. I just feel bad. I don't want to let him down.
When give it your all in the interview, and then in the deliberation process, I'll make sure that we select someone else.
Thanks.
If that makes you happy.
I'm happiest when I get to wander about, and Phlan is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Phlan's nice. It's just stifling here.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I like Romson's. Plus, he's always got the best stories. Has he ever told you about the time how he got all those scars on top of his head?
No.
Yes, he did. Quite a brutal set of circumstances.
I know. I always try to see if I can catch him, and like at first I didn't believe it, but that's every time.
He never changes the story at all.
No, it's always the same. It's like it's seared in there. Was always kind of hoping it was something else.
Yeah. I hope to never encounter one of those, that's for sure.
Me neither. I don't think I'd look that good with that kind of cut.
Me either.
As you say that and share a laugh, Lila walks out and takes a seat at the table. I believe it's your turn. Oh, yep. Okay. She stands up and flattens the dress, but she still has like bacon grease on her hands and just like and tries to get the hair and like tries to pull it back, but ends up just pulling part of it out, so it hangs at a weird asymmetric angle. And
It's too good.
and she walks into the keep. Your
Study.
study keep steady.
The steep.
I mean, it's where we have our gold, so it is our hoard.
True on all accounts. So, Yeah, now you've got your next interviewee in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Gerda. How's breakfast?
Oh, it's really good. I'm just not a huge fan of bacon. No offense, it was great. Your hawk really liked it.
Yeah, Greenhawks is he's good for taking care of scraps and eyes. Very good with eyes.
Um,
But that's
I don't know
a
how to
weird non
respond to
sequitur.
that.
And you know what? The fact that you don't is a very good thing for you.
Yeah, so
So not
is he
scare her
like,
right away.
is he supposed to be that color? Do you dye him?
From what Siren has explained, Greenhawks is a special individual amongst hawks. He is an apex version of them, I suppose.
That would explain. He is rather intelligent. Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
we like having him around. He's very nice, very helpful, very good friend.
Yeah, I mean, who needs a guard dog? I mean, dogs can't fly.
Nope, and dogs are not as quiet as he is.
It's true.
No, no, I would agree with that.
So we're glad that you came to speak with us. We know that you're in town, at least for the time being, and you know, I suppose, yeah, it's good that you seem to be interested in our organization. We did have a nice little bit of time with you and everything, and you're quite lovely. But I guess we're here to talk about the more professional things, not the adventure part of things.
Well, I am real grateful for you guys getting me out of there. I mean, I did watch you all kill a dragon, so that puts you in pretty high regards from my side of things.
Did you actually did you have a view of that fight? I actually didn't have a chance to ask you that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody could kind of see that one.
I'm gonna whisper. Did you see Reyn die?
That was a different time.
Um,
That
no.
was not that was not the dragon
No.
fight. I didn't die during the
No.
dragon fight. That was
No.
a different time.
Go.
Is that why you're
Go.
blue?
No, it's why I don't have a beard. Oh god, the reason why I'm blue is less and more complicated. I drank juice that is technically the overflow. You know what? Never mind. It's really
It's energy
complicated. Chaos magic. Never mind. So.
Okay.
Interview.
Oh geez. So, Gerda, I guess the first kind of thing we're kind of looking into. Do you speak any interesting languages? How literate are you, I suppose?
Well, I speak common. I mean, obviously.
Mm.
And I speak Elvish. But about it. Usually that gets me pretty by.
In general, it really does, in most instances. All right.
I speak a little
Um,
bit of that I picked up from Romson. They have their own well, like a lot of different countries, they have their own kind of natural dialect and stuff. So I speak a little bit of Omnish, but
Okay. Interesting.
it doesn't come up a
Um,
ton. It's really just mostly when Romson gets really mad. Now I know what he means when he gets really mad and says weird stuff.
That's yeah. I could imagine working with him. That's generally helpful.
I'm
Go ahead.
curious too. Yeah. Now, when you were working with Robson, or maybe some other experience, now, do you have any? Do you have any experience actually like transcribing in these languages? We do want someone that can work with written language, and definitely just kind of working a lot of the books for this position.
I mean, I definitely can write in Common and Elvish really well. Transcribing, like, I mean, I could give it my best shot.
What would you consider your kind of main qualifications for a position like this, I suppose, Gerda? I know that you said that you've helped Romson over there at the Oh my gosh, my brain has just been addled
Crossing
recently.
in.
What's the name of that inn? The Crossing Inn? There we go.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I help you typically with like with payroll and getting different items and supplies. It's more of like making sure that we stay stocked on everything and dealing with all the different guests that we get and really just clerical is probably the wrong way. I do
mhm.
a lot of in work and I also do a lot of exploring of kind of the surrounding areas. I've been up and down the Trank River a couple different times. Got a bit of a kind of I think Jeeves calls it my wanderlust.
I know it well. I'm far from home too, so I though I guess I have kind of put down roots here in Phlan now.
Yeah,
Regardless, I understand what you mean though. The dwarves get it too. I think there's a lot of similarities between dwarves and elves in very weird ways, but I know what you mean.
yeah, we're you know, we're half elves,
Well,
uh,
yeah, but
but you know, we're from across the way over Cormanther. Well,
oh, got it.
yeah, actually from Hillsfar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's definitely a reason we're not in Hillsfar.
Yeah, it's understandable to be out of that region. Uh, I can I have you heard if things have been rougher out there in the past few years or anything?
I mean, from what I've heard, I mean things are always rough in Hillsfar. It's a kind of a hard place. Uh, just all things considered, they don't have
True.
like a it's home, but there's a reason I left. If anything, I'm sure things are the same as they've always been in Hillsfar. You got a lot of
Right.
different people all wanting to control Hillsfar, and none of them doing it well.
Well, the position we're hiring for, to some extent, is similar to how you seem to be helping Ramson, or Ramson. Never mind. Um,
He doesn't care one
uh,
way or another.
yeah, yeah, I like that bloke. He's good for that. But he, keeping to our, payroll and finances. Though payroll's not really a thing because we just split the gold amongst ourselves and everything. But in theory, this could be a live-in position. We do have an open room right now, but it is mostly, that kind of stuff, making sure the house is, looked after and stocked in between adventures. Not looking for like a caretaker or anything, but we would have you interacting with potential clients and stuff like that if we're, out and about or on an adventure at the time, whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of we have an idea of what this all is, but this is the first time any of us are in business, so we're figuring it out as we go too.
I get that.
I was gonna ask because it's kind of my go-to question right now with just general folk. If you had been on any kind of adventures or misadventures, knows that we know that. But I guess besides the whole dragon rescue and everything, had you had any much excitement in your wanderlust besides that?
I mean, all sorts of different stuff. I've been to Melvant and visited that city. I've met some of the orc tribes over in kind of the northern parts of Thar a time or two.
Reyn
Uh,
resists spitting on the ground when he hears orc tribes.
um,
This is our nice room.
It is.
I've I've been all over the Moonsea at one point or another. I've seen the Galena Mountains before. I've seen the Dragonspire Mountains. I've seen lots of kind of the different Moonsea. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you run into.
Very nice. Um, Gentlemen, any other particular questions?
No.
Well,
Oh, Alder? Or no? Never mind.
That's it. No, not a whole lot from me here. I think that does the most of it on this one.
I will say, it is a lovely dress. Though, did Jeeves get you up early?
Yeah, yeah, this, I guess you can tell this is, all his handiwork.
Oh, I could.
You can see his style and touches in anything that he puts his hands on.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of style. He really knows what he likes.
Oh, for once in my life, I roll a decent insight check. No, Reyn's just gonna leave that at that.
What'd you roll on insight?
I did roll it in. I was just randomly fun for just my own mental sake, but I did get a 16 on insight.
Yeah, clearly does not like wearing all of that. Clear it is. If Jeeves, you get the sinking suspicion if Jeeves could have done this interview, he probably would have.
Wow.
That's in no way like, yeah, like Jeeves does seem like the kind of guy to just be an absolute control freak when it comes to things that he loves.
Well, he does man all of the Zenitrum estates, and that takes a certain amount of obsessive amounts of detail and control to make that place run correctly. So, I mean, you've seen the Zenitrum estates. It takes a certain type of individual to make all that run smoothly.
Absolutely. I always forget that he is the head of staff there, basically.
Of course,
But yeah.
he's Chab's number 2.
Well, unless you have any particular questions for us or requests or anything like that, that's, I think, all we have for you.
No, just that it's been great. Thanks for breakfast, and thanks for saving me.
You're very welcome. And I've not had much of a chance to interact with folk post adventure, post kind of saving. So thank you for the appreciation, I suppose, and know that we hold you in no kind of debt to us or anything like that. We were, I mean, your brother paid or your cousin paid us, but just don't feel like you're beholden to us in any way if you don't want to be.
It's good to know. Thanks.
You're welcome.
This
we do this because we're good, not because we're trying to get people attached to us.
Well, at the very least, you're good at it. So, I would still be okay with that. Either way, because the opposite was likely getting eaten by an adult black dragon. So,
yeah, and that's not good for anybody, not at all. So yeah.
If the cards are down, I know which to beholden to an adventurer's guild in the belly of a black dragon. I know some people might struggle with that choice, but I think I know which one I'd fall
on. You are a wise woman.
Well, it helps being 63.
Oh, it definitely does. And yeah, he's just,
Oliver just kind of raises his eyebrows real quick, like, whoa, man.
Hey, yep. I'm 77 and look like I'm like a child dwarf now in blue paint, so...
Oh, I hold on. I think I have something for this. Nope, keep going. I'll post it when I find it.
But I digress. Gerda, it was lovely speaking with you. We're going to do a little bit of deliberation here at the Lost and Found, and hopefully have a answer for you one way or another. Hopefully today or maybe tomorrow. But yeah, we'll let you know one way or another.
Yeah, you'll know where to find me.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for the interview. Once again, thanks for breakfast. I was hungry for a second one.
if you were up early enough, I imagine. Yeah, Reyn puts out a hand for a shake.
She does shake. She still very much has the bacon grease on her hand, so her shake is much lighter and far. It's a greasy handshake. There's just no other way to say it. It's a greasy handshake.
After Reyn shakes her hand first, he flourishes his left hand and snaps a finger, and the cast presto, and the grease is eradicated.
Yeah, and she does the same for Alder and for Gelt.
I shake the greasy hand, kind of sizzle it off a little bit with the flame.
Oh.
And then Gelt shakes your hand, and you once again have the grease that you had washed off earlier, considering you cooked it all. Also, there it is. I finally found it.
That's very good, Tom.
You're just a child. Well, you're just a teenager. Get the fuck off my lawn, you damn kids.
Oh man, it's so true. Elves and dwarves are the best. I love it.
Zuko, my spirit animal. Good. I got her. Çiaran. Çiaran. Ah, there you are.
Yes.
Lila sits and pleasantly sits. You know, she's exactly the same as the last time you saw her. So for you, it's only been like 7 or 8, 10 days. And she kind of looks at you peculiarly for a second. Have we met?
I looked very different when we helped you out all those years ago. A lot's happened, but I am Çiaran-Laé. I was the half-elf
yes.
who,
Wow, I don't know what you did, but whatever it was, very much worked for you.
Oh, thank you.
I see that you've met my wife.
Oh, yes. No, I only know that because I'm a player. Your wife?
Well, at the very least, you've met her handiwork. The cloak that you're wearing, with all the pockets, I can tell her stitching anyway.
Oh. Oh, wow. Yes, she does incredible work. Send my gratitude. Yes, very happy with it. How long have you been married?
Oh, at this point, the better part of perhaps 10 years.
Hmm.
Yes, we've been together for quite some time. She is everything wonderful in my life.
That's lovely. I hope to find someone like that someday. Do you feel the interview went well?
I think so. I would be quite surprised if I did not make myself known here more often coming forward. Not to brag, but I am rather confident.
Well, you are certainly more composed than your competition, so we shall see.
Oh man!
Woo! Burn him!
Well, she is rather lovely, but she seems very lost in Phlan.
Well, I'm sure she'll find her way.
Well, yes, it's because I'll be taking her back after this.
Oh man! The two of you are on fire. I love it.
It's funny.
Although, do you all have napkins by chance?
Do we?
There should be some cloth napkins of some kind in the kitchen. We wouldn't have paper napkins, but yeah, there's some
Yes.
handkerchiefs or something.
Okay.
Would you mind grabbing one? She so desperately needs one.
You're absolutely right. Actually, I'll go fetch one for her.
Oh man, no, but seriously, with Alder, Reyn, and Gelt being in the house, and Gelt being the one prepping food, there's definitely no way that
that's
there were
true.
napkins on the table.
Oh
We're a
no,
bunch,
no,
we're a bunch
absolutely
of rough
not
dudes.
on the table.
I used to just wipe my hands off in my beard.
Yeah. Seer, and you
Why
go
it looks
through
so
it, and you're
shiny.
like, shit. Do we not have any napkins?
Reyn is just
somewhere.
like, that's what Presto's for, right? Like, it's just the napkin.
The napkin spell.
You are able to find, you're like looking around. You're like, we have these curtains.
Oh,
I don't know if anybody would mind if we just took, like a square from it.
that's fine. We have no napkins in the house. Do it.
Well, we know what to shop for.
So, Siren, if you'll allow it, you cut kind of a square from the curtains and get like a napkin. You're like, yeah, this'll do. This'll do.
Yeah, forest girl. Yeah, she's gonna cut off some curtain.
Yeah.
Like, I
You're
think
s-
you would. You don't care. You don't care about the way that
No.
the curtains look.
No,
like.
not at all.
It's just a curtain. Who cares, right?
You're just like, perfect. You're like
Sweet
looking around
cloth.
and you feel the curtains. You're like, this would make a great handkerchief. Perfect. You get a nice
Perfect.
square out of it. You come back or return it to Lila.
Super satisfying.
It's like, oh. Kind of looks over. Thank you. And that is the same moment that Gerda comes back out.
So
And-
good.
It says, stands up and says, well, thank you, Saren. It's nice to see you again in your much improved form.
It was
hope
lovely seeing you again too.
I hope that came across correctly. But I
It
would be lying if I said your former form was preferable to this one.
I am inclined to agree.
Good. It's a good bit of self-awareness. And shakes your hand. And all right, Gerda, shall I return you back to? I believe you're heading towards the Central Estates. Yeah, that'd be. Thanks. Bye, everybody. Bye, Siren.
Goodbye.
Good to see
darling.
you. Travel safe, ladies.
Yep. Thank you again for coming out, ladies.
And
Okay.
like I'd said, we will. You will hear from us. If not today, definitely tomorrow.
Assuredly. Okay, thanks. And they both head out, and as you guys kind of watch them leave, Lila goes over, and you see her hand, Gerda, the cut piece of curtains, and you can briefly hear, please wipe your hands. As they
I fucking love it.
head down the Haldane path, heading down towards the Zenitrum Estates. The boarding is yours, lost and found.
Well, they make an interesting pair. That's for sure.
So, do we want to talk impressions?
I mean, I'll just be blunt about it. The three of us were in the room together. Lila is the better applicant.
Well, that makes it convenient because it's from where I was standing. It seems like Gerda did not particularly want to work here.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
she.
the impression you get.
She,
Yeah, how'd your conversation
she
go?
she said so, actually.
Oh, like
Oh.
flat out that she didn't want to work here.
Yeah, she would rather not. She came here out of respect and for Jeeves and ourselves, but would rather go back to where she was working before.
Well, I can't force anybody to do anything. She's her she's her own woman, and while Jeeves is a very good friend, associate, acquaintance. I don't know how to put it. He's an interesting. It's our relationship is complicated, but I'm not gonna force anybody to do anything they don't want to. She has her independence, and if she doesn't want to work here and be in Phlan, then that's her decision.
Honestly speaking, she's gonna get grease all over my books, and I just got him, guys. I think she'd be okay in the office, but she's someone that'd be much better out on the actual field, you know?
Lila had a plan for fixing up our business end of things already. She was asking to look at our numbers and our finances and stuff to get an idea getting into. Like, she is in it to win it. She's also been unemployed for a hot minute, though she does have her wife who is making coin, obviously, but she's very good. She seems to be perfect for what we're looking for.
Well, excellent. It seems like the answer is pretty
yeah, pretty solid. Now, the thing to think about is, are we going to, and he looks to Alder, are we going to be honest with Jeeves about this?
Yeah, that's my worry. Jeeves is probably not going to be super happy to hear the news on that one, so might need to be a little delicate, but I mean,
at the end of the day, we just have to tell Lila.
You mean, exactly. And,
or not Lila, Gerda.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, it'll be a tough talk, but just let them know, like, hey, she interviewed, she did well for it, but it's clear that she wants to do her own thing, it sounds like, let her fly.
And even with her, even in the interview, she may not have explicitly said it to us, but as soon as we got her talking about Romson and being over at the Crossing Inn and traveling and stuff like that, that's all she could talk about.
Yeah, it sounds like Jeeves just kind of needs to, I don't know if reality check is the word, but he's got her best. He's coming at it with a big heart. Let's not be too hard on the guy, but be honest.
Yep. Well, hopefully he'll understand. Considering she was just saved from the clutches of a dragon-obsessed bunch of lizard folk, I figure he might not take it the best that she wants to leave again. But, well, I assume she wants to leave again, considering the Wanderlust talk she had and everything. But, yeah, it seems pretty cut and dry. All right. I will say, Layla's request was 1 gold a day, which I think is reasonable. Will be, considering how much we usually pull in on adventures, so about 30 gold a 10-day to worry about, or 30 gold to worry in payment. But she said she's gonna help us with figuring out a budget for everything and whatnot. She scoffed at my explanation. Well, not scoffed. She turned up her raised an eyebrow at my explanation of adventure economics. But I think having somebody who will be well trained in the business side of things is going to help us run this ship.
I'm inclined to agree. 1 gold a day, we can find that easy with our line of work, at least recently. So
absolutely. Yep.
Agreed.
Yep. And at that point, she did explicitly say that she does not want to do any kind of living, but she's only like 10 minutes away from here. So we'll have an open room if and when you decide you want to move out of the Zenitrim.
Y'all really want me to chip in on that rent now, don't you?
No, I'm not asking you to chip in on rent. I just know that you don't necessarily feel safe there.
Yeah, it's an awkward bit right now, so we'll see how things go after the mission and kind of make a decision from there.
Good. just I just want you to know that you're welcome. Not that you ever would feel that you weren't, but you are.
I know the invitation is open, friend, and I appreciate it.
I mean, obviously, we'll let them get home. We're not going to chase them down in the streets. Alder, do you want to write up a quick letter of acceptance of employment and a thank you letter to Gerda?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you
can
have the best.
do that.
You have the best handwriting in the house, so.
Well, first off, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Second, yeah, I can definitely do that. Probably only fair. I will probably have to talk with Jeeves when I hand off one of those letters, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I have a feeling it may be good for you and I to go have that conversation, even if you do most of the talking. I like to stand around and look like I might punch a person some days.
Yeah, well,
helps sway the conversation if he understands that. That's what I'm saying. But also, I don't trust you going over to the Zenitrim estate by yourself right now. Not that I don't trust you, I just don't trust the Zenitrim estate.
Yeah, I get that. We could talk a little bit more about that too. I'm kind of looking out for you at the estate too, friend. But that's,
we'll have a
that's
conversation about our particular organization at some point. Yeah, I think that's good for us.
We'll talk family for sure.
Yeah. Sorry to drop into family talk in front of the two of you for a second there. But yeah. Were we still trying? Or did we still want to try and get out to Grimshackle Jail sometime before we head out to go look for Sahnd Kruelek? Get whatever information that Raytheon has in the prisoner there.
But I'd imagine that would be wise.
Yeah, I think that's the best place to start.
Okay.
I mean, where else are we going to go right now? We only have a name. We don't really know exactly where the station or anything. We need some more info, in my opinion.
It'll probably be hard to get anything out of her, but if she's been in Grimshackle for a little while, they may have, I say this only because it is the correct, do not like the sound of it, they may have already broken her.
We won't know until we go.
As you guys are deciding on that, there's another knock at the door.
Oh?
Indeed.
Do we have another? Do you guys know if we had another interview or?
No, as Reyn stands up and goes and answers the door.
You answer the door, and standing in front of you is a middle-aged man. He has kind of short cropped hair, a well-manicured but short beard. I mean, nothing as nice as your beard once was. But he is only a human, but for a human, it's very well kept. And he is standing there looking slightly anxious, but he has an incredibly straight posture.
Good morning, sir. How can we help you?
Yes, howdy. My name is Braden, and I was hoping that I'm in the right place for the Lost and Found Adventuring Guild.
That would be correct, Braden, yes. Come on in. As he opens the door and says, we have somebody asking about for the guild, folks. This is Braden, as he leads him into the living room.
Aye. May I ask, Braden, is your last name Yell?
Ah, well, you are well informed, yeah. Braden Gelt.
Reyn just double takes at Gelt real quick. Huh?
This is Braden Yell of House Cordona.
Well, right on all accounts. You have me at I know you're the Lost and Found, and I know you must be a Paladin of tier, but you have me at a bit of a disadvantage.
I'm sorry, Braden. I've only heard of you. I could only guess there's one other one with
I think he's asking to introduce yourself, Gelt.
That is correct. That is what I'm asking.
My bad. My name is I'm Marchion Geltmore.
Pleasure to meet you, Geltmore.
I am Reyn Ironfist.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Reyn.
Alder Chiskin here.
I'm Çiaran-Laé.
Alder, Çiaran, pleasure's all mine.
So, what brings you to an adventurers guild this early in the morning? Well, not too early. How can we help you, I suppose?
Well, from what I have heard is that you all function outside of the city of Phlan, correct?
We do. We are not held to the same kind of restrictions that Blackfist are. We do go adventure out in the regions surrounding Phlan.
Well, that is most excellent to hear, for I do have a job for all of you.
Okay.
I would inquire if you have ever heard of the Heart of Myth Draenor.
Can't say.
I cannot say that I have, but he side-eyes Elder.
You may roll. Anyone who would like to, you may roll history.
I will do such. That's a 16.
A 16.
17.
17. The Heart of Myth Draenor is a emerald necklace that has its origins from Myth Draenor, which was an ancient elven kind of empire in Cormanthor. There are still ruins there, and Myth Draenor still exists in some fashion, just not in the way that the legends say. It is a rather valuable emerald necklace. So yes, you have heard of the Heart of Myth Draenor.
Yeah, that's a pretty spiffy necklace right there. You asking us to retrieve it then?
Well, I was hoping that the Lost and Found was not just a clever title, indeed.
It is what we specialize in, is acquisition, recovery of both things and individuals. So good on you.
Well, we're currently, well, how to put it, during the last couple days, I'm sure it does not fall on unknown ears that we had a slew of assassination attempts here in Phlan. However, during such a thing, from House Cordona, something was stolen. Of course, I suppose it bears no meaning to just go ahead and say that the Heart of Myth Draenor has been taken.
So it was in your possession.
Yes, indeed, it was. It's one of the more valuable things that House Cordona owns, and well, they are, and I am very eager to recover such a thing. We, well, I would assume that it has been stolen by the very people orchestrating such an attack against the different various people of note in Phlan, those Grey Patriot types, and I would be willing to offer 500 gold pieces for the return of such a thing.
I'm gonna go over to what's it called? To Reyn real quick and whisper. I'm like, he has one of the books that the Cult of Dragons are looking for.
Thank you for making me aware of that. I
Out of all the people, I'll say you know. I was like,
no, I'm glad. No, I wouldn't have known that off the top of my head. So thank you very much.
Okay.
I know
We
that
should ask
seems like quite a bit of money just for a single necklace, but its value is priceless to any normal individual, but even more so to House Cordona. And, well, it is quite a sad thing to see that taken from the house.
Well, considering we should be traveling out to that portion of the region sometime soon, it is definitely not outside of our ability to be on the lookout and make sure that gets taken. Was there an assassin on anybody who was in House Cordona?
Uh, I would have to say that we have been very fortunate to not have had such an attempt on us. However, in the ensuing chaos at that time, it appears that the necklace was stolen in that intermittent time.
Was there any evidence, in the room where it was held or in the house, led to the belief that this was a break-in or anything like that?
Well, there was some points of forced entry into there that
Got it.
typically would have been known. However, it appears that the timing of both the assassinations and this theft coincided. However,
Okay.
it is my personal belief that those who orchestrated such an assassination attempt, well, if they're willing to kill people, then stealing an incredibly valuable necklace must seem like a small errand.
Well, it looks like the coin ended up on the right side for you. You just lost a necklace, not your life. We'll make sure that it gets back to you.
Well, thank you. I cannot say that it is mine more of the house's, but I appreciate it nonetheless. If you do recover such a necklace, please come to the house of Cordona, and we will get payment, and I will see it as a personal favor moving forward.
Fantastic. Is this being gone, is this something that could, destabilize your family's position? I know that that's a very big question, but I'm trying to piece together if this is really all connected. I mean, at the surface, it very obviously seems like it would be, but theft and assassination are very different leagues of.
It would hurt House Cordona quite a bit to lose such a thing, and would also jeopardize our relationship with the larger portion of the Lord's Alliance. While they do not typically operate this far out in recent years, House Cordona still has maintained our at least benevolent relationship with the Lord's Alliance at this time. I know that things have been different in years since, in many ways better, in some ways lesser. But yes, it would have significant consequences to have that gone for such a time.
Okay, got it. So
And it
even
has been
that
a
was
very long time since any of the noble houses have been robbed in such a manner.
indeed. Okay, yeah, it seems like it's more in line with the destabilization of society that they seem to be trying to pull here in Phlan right now.
I would
Okay,
also very much appreciate if this job would be just this job between us. It has not been made public that the necklace is missing, and I would very much like to keep it that way. In fact, if you are willing to keep it that way, I will most assuredly give you my marker for one favor of your choice, as much as me and the house can manage for you. This would be quite embarrassing to be caught without it.
if there is one thing that I personally, and I think the group, have prided ourselves on as adventurers, it is discretion. We have had some high profile clients, and we like to make sure that they know that when they come to us, that nobody else is going to know about it unless they absolutely have to.
Well, I feel like that will serve you very well, and I will be more than happy to spread your good name around as soon as the heart of Mitranor is returned back to House Cordona. So,
So it is very green, right?
very green. I promise you, from personal experience, it is quite possibly the most remarkable emerald necklace you will ever set eyes on. I mean,
Reyn's eyes glinted dwarvish.
I could not imagine any necklace being as such fine quality and as such stature as the Heart of Mitranor anywhere, at least in the Moonsea region. Now you start heading over towards the west coast, the Sword Coast of Faerun. Well, you can find just about anything in Waterdeep, but as far as we're concerned, I'd bet a whole hand that there's not another house that could produce such a fine necklace.
There we go.
Oh, sorry,
All right.
that is not a joke at your expense, Paladin.
Oh. All right. Well, we will, like I'd said, for several different reasons, should be out in that region dealing with the Grey Patriots and whatnot, and we'll make sure that it is recovered.
Well, I thank you very much. That takes a weight off my shoulders that I was unaware I was carrying.
It's surprising how much just hearing that something is being worked on can help you mentally.
Well, I will delay you no longer. And he takes a short, courteous bow, the type that looks very simple, but only nobles can pull off with that certain amount of precision. Nods to you all. Thank you from me personally, Braden Yale, and also from House Cordona. It will be... Well, I might be at a loss of words how much this would mean to the house. So I will, once again, not to drone out, but thank you very much. I will
You're very welcome.
Here for you, and sooner rather than later. Have a wonderful
Ideally
day,
so.
lost and found.
You as well. Thank you very much, Braden.
And he leaves, and there is there's a smile on his face as he does.
And as the door closes, and then I hear the second door close for our porch, which means I know he's basically out of earshot at that point. He says, "I wonder which one of our clients told them about us."
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, just in a curious kind of way.
Weird, yeah.
No, and thank you for making me aware of that, Gelt.
Yes.
I assume you remember this too, Alder, but he has one of the books that the cult was interested in.
I am quite interested, and I do know about that one as well. I believe he had the lords and lineages of Phlan checked out in my notes. So definitely someone to keep an eye on, and I'll be honest, probably a handy person to have a favor in as well.
True.
Absolutely.
Get that book off of
Any wealthy benefactor who's willing to throw the weight around for it in these times is something good to try and cultivate.
Yes.
I would agree.
Because at some point, I have a feeling that, we'll talk about it when we're talking about family, Alder. Never mind.
Let's put it this way. It never hurts to have friends in high places, right?
Absolutely. Diversify your friend group. Make sure everybody's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I, as Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, Dom, am remembering that the Grimshackle jail is about 3 hours out from here. Is that on foot?
You have two ways to go about it. You could either go up through kind of the edge of the Quivering Forest for a while, and then you could get there and it would take a little bit more time. You could charter a boat to take you up, which would be the least wear and tear. It would take a little bit more time because it's you do have to go upriver, so it's not fast travel, but it's much easier. Or you could go all the way out and go around kind of the way you guys got up to the Temple of Scale. You just don't have to go nearly as far west. And then you could head up there. But yeah, the fastest time is gonna be like if you got horses and you're like going there. Yeah, it'd only take you a couple hours. I mean, not a whole day, not even half a day, but
Got it.
enough to
That's
where
what I was trying to
it's
figure out.
enough to where it's far enough away from Phlan that you gotta wanna go there. But close enough to where if they need anything, it's just a trip downriver.
Got it. Okay, so we can there and back in one day. That's mostly what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's probably, it's you guys got up, you typically sun's rise at 6, you had interviews at 8, Braden just peered, so you're probably getting closer to like 10 o'clock. You still got plenty of day left.
Okay. Do we want to... I feel inclined to just rent horses for the day. If it's just for the day, it shouldn't cost us that much. And get over there and back.
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty. We are going to be out on the roads, which Lord knows what the state of things are right now, realistically. So, and also we're going to a very, it's in the name, a very grim jail. So we should probably be like fully loaded up, ready for biz, just in case.
Just in case.
Cool. Well, let's all prep, and then we'll go get horses, and then we'll ride out to Grimshackle. Huzzah! I have never said huzzah before. Never again. Can we take like a 5 to 10 minute bio break?
Mm-hmm.
No. Game continues.
No!
Yep, we will. We'll say 3:10. We will reconvene, so everybody go to the bathroom, get a drink. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed the RP with Chad we did last session, but boy, did I enjoy that interview process almost as much, if not more.
I felt like I was actually expecting more from Ryan.
So that was the thing. I was trying really hard not to go too in depth because I know all the fucking questions to ask you, and I was just like, how much would everyone enjoy if I actually just like gave them those BS interview questions right now? Maybe I should have done it more. I apologize, but yeah, no, I was feeling it that whole time. I was like, oh boy. This brings back memories.
It was definitely like when you flip flop between the two different like RP encounters, they are on the opposite sides of the spectrum, and I can't decide which one I like more.
Yeah, tell me about the distance. Have you looked into it? Does this seem like a good commute for you?
Oh my god!
Right, I'll be right back.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. How would your other employer react? Do you think? If you were actually offered that position.
Well...
Now, I'm just trying to help you out here because this is an honest question, and sometimes, like you think you're prepared, you just don't want to be caught off guard, and you want to be at least clear on what it is that you genuinely want with your position. Listen, I used to have the whole fucking script memorized, Kyle. Let me tell you. There's a lot.
I believe you. Yeah, I'm also going to do that. I'll be right back.
Really, the main thing was just going through a list of it and just kind of trying to find what it is about the job that they like or are interested in, or what might be a potential problem, and then just figuring out from there like what their honest take is. Like you want to find their main motivator and what their main concern is, and then kind of make a decision from that. That was basically my job.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I felt a little traumatized when it was just like, God, I'm going to be here for the interview. Maybe that was
I could sense how much you were restraining yourself.
That might have been part of why I didn't ask as much there, because I was just like, man, I don't want to.
Yeah, I get it. It would have been funny, but I totally get the restraint.
The funny part about that, Ryan, is that in my classes, the class that I TA'd for twice, got the A on, Lan has helped me the most through life, is my interviewing class. So while you have the script memorized to be the interviewer, I've got the script memorized on how to be the interviewee.
I feel
like
you're just acting in a play at that point.
Yeah, I was fully prepared. I was like, all right, if Ryan's gonna bust out the questions, I'm like, Lila is gonna crush these questions. Gerda
Oh,
is gonna be
figured she would.
crushed by these questions.
I went a little bit easy. Honestly, the one I think would have crushed her that I could have just started with is, so what do you like about this place? Like, what would you want to do here?
Oh my god! I
Like,
hate
what,
that
I mean, what
fucking
really,
question
like, where do you
so fucking
see...
much.
I mean, where do you honestly see yourself, like, going? Like, do you see yourself, like, actually trajecting with this position? You know,
Where do you
know,
see
what
yourself
are
in
you-
5 years?
Stop.
kind of like that, essentially.
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 That used to be Kyle's
just-
favorite word.
I did. Yep.
The amount of times I have heard Kyle say the word essentially is essentially infinite.
He must have grown out of that mostly by the time.
He stopped saying essentially a lot of the times after he stopped being a recruiter for Westmec and moved into the communication specialist, because when I was working with Maya, the person that Kyle used to work with, she would also say essentially all the time. Hers was essentially or truly. And I was like, I can't tell if Kyle infected you with that or you infected Kyle with it. Because every time it would pop up, like, it's like for her, every time she said essentially, I would have to say essentially. And my coworker, Ryan, who worked there, he's from Minnesota, so he has a bit of an accent. And one of the things that it comes out the worst on is when he says the word bags. So for him, it comes out as bigs. And every time he would say, "Is like, yeah, so would you hand me that bag over there?" And I'd be like, "Big." And he's like, "I hate you." Every time I could not. He would say it, and even if I was completely focused or on a phone call with somebody else, I would just instinctively say bigs and continue on. And I to this day cannot help it. I had a call with him the other week or so, and then he said it, and I was like, bigs. It's like, really? We don't even work together anymore. I'm like, well, yeah.
I mean, but that just makes me think of the Flight of the Concord episode with, like, he could be did. He did or he didn't. What did he do?
He could be deed.
A peen?
Oh no.
No, fuck it. This
Stupid.
makes me think of Sister.
Oh, I got Vegemite all stuck on me peen.
Oh my god. That's everything.
That's funny. That's dun 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 dun. Weirdly enough, that just makes me think of V for Vendetta.
Wow.
Out of all the things that song could evoke, for me, it's always V for Vendetta.
That's strange.
It's because when they're making fun of the High Chancellor, that's the song they play. That's what eventually gets a lot of people killed.
You do.
The Benny Hill theme.
I know. Imagine that. Out of all the things it could possibly be.
I mean, it really nails it in the fact that reality is fucking just ridiculous and nonsense. Just some bullshit nonsense will make anything happen.
That's the cool part about it. I like the crazy. I like the nonsense of existence. I don't know how I would feel about non-existence. I don't think it would really matter.
Yeah, I mean, you would not exist to care.
I wouldn't matter. I couldn't matter. Could not even matter.
And you wouldn't be matter either.
That's where hearts. Oh my God, it's that far up. How? Sweet Jesus. I was looking for from there all the way to there. That's
Huh?
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I was just
What?
look. I was looking. So like, Storm King's fury takes place in Heartsvale, and Heartsvale is very far north, like very far north. It's like, so from where you guys are at, if you guys headed about 600 miles north and then another 500 miles west, you would hit Heartsvale. So,
Small hike.
a small hike. If you guys journeyed immediately west for like 12 to 1500 miles, you'd hit Waterdeep. But to get to Heartsvale, you gotta go way farther north. Now, if you did that and then continued another, 500 plus miles, then you could start hitting like Icewind Dale and all of that, and the Sea of Moving Ice. But that is, I hear the Rime of the Frost Maiden is basically just horror D&D.
I'd like to play that at some point.
Yeah, apparently it's they're like, it's like, do you really like the what is it, the 80s cult classic The Thing? Because if you do,
Yes.
you will like Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So
yeah.
I've been told.
Sign me the fuck up for that.
Yeah, that is whew, apparently it. I haven't looked at it yet. I don't think Rime of the Frost Maiden's out quite yet. Is it? Let's find out. Rime of the
Yes.
Frost Maiden. No, not Ryan. Rhyme.
Oh, I apologize.
I'm back.
Yes, Rime of the Frost Maiden comes out September 15th. Wow, the alternative cover for it is incredible. I mean, all of it looks really incredible. It looks scary at AF. That would be terrifying. I would be very terrified in that situation. But the dice for it. The dice.
That is a nice alternate cover.
Yeah, the alternate cover for it is great. I mean, I like the style of all the alternate covers, and I'm glad that they keep it consistent with whatever style you call that. But I'm just looking at the not alternative style. I'm like, that's scurry. Owls are scurry. Not a big fan of that at all. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
So, so let's get back to it. Are we all here?
I believe we all are.
Yeah.
Back to it. Off the be right back screen. Into the I'll be there. Alder's there. No. So, you guys gather up all of your gear. Put on your armor if you wear it. Grab your weapons if you have them. Books in tow. Haversacks had. The whole thing.
Mike and Besson's done, right?
The thing you just ordered.
You said it would take 10 days.
10 days? Then yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. You will need, I believe, for attunement. Nick, help me out. Is that short or long rest?
I think it's just an hour with the object, which can be done over the course of a short rest.
Yeah. You could. Yeah, you could. I'll allow you to attune to it.
Yay.
So it is. It does not look very good. It's like, just by comparison to other things that have been made. Actually, you pick that up, and it just looks like it's like on the surface. Somebody might not even think there's anything special about it, but when you put it on, it's just very, very sturdy. Um, it's got way more weight to it than you were expecting, just the heft to it. But it does keep any sort of kind of definitely. There's some places in your armor that chafe a little bit, especially because you do wear breastplates, and this definitely helps. So it's quite the clash of being able to see Gelt's, shiny, breastplates, and then in between you can see the onyx color of kind of black scales.
Ooh, nice.
You
Like you have
also
cell shading.
you also pick up there is the object, the dragon tooth dagger, or the Rinthax dagger, as it is
Oh,
called.
yeah.
That is given to you guys in your possession. That's the D6 dagger that does a D6 of poison, an extra D6 against dragons. Um, the weaponsmith tells you all what a pain in the ass it was to put together. The problem with that dagger and that tooth is that over time, the acid from the tooth will erode whatever sheath it's in, or whatever blade is attached to it that isn't made out of the same dragon's, skull
Material.
bones. So what they had to do is the metallic equivalent to black dragons are copper dragons. However, copper over time will eventually turn green due to the presence of the acid on it. So what they did was that they mixed not only the copper, but they tempered most of the blade with mimic blood, because mimics are immune to acid. So, using that, the sheath and the hilts of this dragon tooth dagger are copper that have been tempered with mimic blood to keep it from eroding. So that is now in the party's possession.
Uh, mi- Mimic blood?
Yes.
Making magic items is weird and
Yeah, it is. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, because the only other things that are immune to acid damage that they could possibly find that isn't other dragons is going to be oozes, and oozes don't make for good weapons.
Nope.
I hate it.
Yes, yes, you do. So, it is while it is a magical dagger. It is not an attunement magical dagger, so that is in the party's possession. Who gets it is up to you guys.
Cool.
Technically, right now, Siren, you have it.
Yeah. You're the one who
as
picked it up
as
realistically.
that girl's mother. It gives you a bit of warning of not to judge your parenting style, but you might not want to give this to kids.
Agreed.
So yes, Siren, you see it and you like pull it out from there, and it's a weird blend, because the dragon tooth is very, it's like, it looks very almost tribal, very definitely, like, you could see a lizard folk using that, but the hilt and the sheath are very very city, very not Reyn, you looking at it, it's like, that's definitely not Dwarven made, Dwarven assisted, but it lacks the kind of geometry that is and blockiness that is so dwarven.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Cool.
so it's a D6.
It's a D6 instead of a D4, and it does a D6 of acid damage as well. It counts as magical because it is a dragon's tooth for overcoming resistance to piercing damage, and then against dragons it does an extra D6.
Oh wow.
Because, well, What can pierce dragon's scale? Dragon teeth. That's how dragons fight each
True.
other.
Bite, bite, bite.
So that is
Cool.
the tooth of Rinthax.
Neato. We'll let you hold on to that for now, Siren.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle. I mean, I already have a lot of cool stuff if someone else wants it.
Well, I don't really have a use for it.
I mean, I love using the liar, but I mean, I'm not gonna deny a freaking 2d6 stabbing weapon if I can get my hands onto it.
True.
True.
But once again, it's in your possession. Feel free to hold on to it. I'm not asking for it. I have magic physical attacks now with my fists.
Alder, are you
You know,
proficient with
I
daggers?
did kill the dragon myself.
There you go. That's your
So-
trophy.
There you go.
Hold on to that thing.
Cool. And you know what? I just realized, I don't know where it all came from, but I do have enough to give you back the 120 you lent me.
It was 150 that I lent to you, but
Oh, that's why. Oh, so I have 120 of it right now.
Mhm.
I'll
we'll
give
work
it to you right now.
Okay, thank you.
And
That's
then
nice.
I'll just owe you 30.
Cool. Cool. Let's get horses.
Yup.
Unless there's something else before horses, Tom.
Not unless you guys really want them to be. It's the end of your 10
Nope.
days. You guys have worked at Mantor's Library, at the Laughing Goblin, done your interviews, got tattoos, talked to your various factions. Çiaran, just as a point of order, I misspoke. It's not the Whispering Woods, it's Crypt Garden Forest.
Oh.
Yes, and
I love the name.
yes, and we're looking for. Let me get the spelling up from it. It is. I had it up there.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention we were talking about using my Tree of Sending, but I totally would have told the Enclave about what was going on with the fucking limbo shit.
Yes, that is very alarming for them on many things, and they're going to look into that post haste. Serenella is like, what?
Yeah.
Chitters!
I'm like,
What do we know about this? What do you mean we don't know anything about it? Chitters, what the fuck?
Wow. Siren, you're the first reporter on this to the fucking
Best of all,
Emerald Enclave.
I can
Soon on the
map
scene here.
exactly where it is.
Holy shit.
So
You're very important, Siren.
the dragon that is in the Crypt Garden is called is spelled CLA
CLA.
UGI YLI AMA TAR. And the way I'm pronouncing that is Caligula Mater. I'm sure if we broke that down, but that is the easiest way for me to pronounce that. More commonly known, as many dragons are, there's the dragon's name, which, Gelt, you could pronounce that, not a problem, in-game. However, most dragons, as you guys most dragons have a common name, or one that they're referred to. It's usually a nickname given to them by others, or one that they use when they don't feel like using their actual name. Hers, for she is an ancient green dragon, is Old Gnawbone.
Ancient's a scary thing to hear in front of Dragon.
Yes, Çiaran tried to get in contact. Çiaran, is it okay if I say this? I mean, if you really don't want me to, but
she'll share what she'll talk about her father for the first time ever.
Do you want me to explain that, or do you want to RP that yourself?
You can explain it.
So, Çiaran reached out to her dad, who is a rather influential member of the Emerald Enclave.
That makes sense.
Yes, and she was reaching out to go talk to him, and Saranola, the Whisperer, informed Çiaran that that was not going to be possible at this time because currently he is in Crypt Garden Forest, along with the Emerald Enclave and some other actual faction members. They're working in tandem right now to kind of contain Caligula Mater, Old Gnawbones, that she has become far more active, as has some of her children, and that the Crypt Garden right now, they are trying to contain that from spreading out and causing destruction. The Crypt Garden Forest is north of Waterdeep by about 150 miles, and it is also
wow.
yeah. So it's not terribly far from Waterdeep, not for an ancient dragon. Um, and it's also for those of us who are fans of D&D. It is only about 40 miles away from Phandalin. For those of us
Okay.
who know Lost Mines of Vandelver. So it actually is right up against the city of Westbridge. It's kind of west of like the High Forest, so it's in a Crypt Garden is always an issue. But most of the time, as long as Old Gnawbones is just sleeping, laying dormant, as many ancient dragons do in their older years, it's fine. But once those dragons get up and start walking around, for whatever reason that she suddenly has become more active, that's a problem. And the Emerald Enclave is first on the scene there. So that's where Çiaran's dad, Delan Winterhund-Laé, is currently stationed.
Wow.
That's the type of stuff Çiaran's dad works with.
Color me
Yeah.
impressed with the legendary status of his ex.
It's yeah, I try not to brag because it's kind of hard to live up to that, to be honest. But you know,
It makes sense why you're so passionate about what you do, what you care about, though.
thank you.
So you guys head to Ernst Livery to go rent some horses. Since you're planning on only having it for the day, and you're only going up to Grimshackle Jail, it's going to be for the day is 5 silver pieces, and then on retainer, since you guys are taking horses out of the city, it's 20 gold pieces for each one of the horses.
Damn.
So, horses are,
Alright.
if you're going to rent out a horse, they're very, to buy a horse outright from like the PHB would be, hold on, I just had them
75, I think.
75 for your, and that is what horses they have on there. There are, of course,
Yeah, that's a riding horse.
yeah, that's a riding horse. I also have some, if you guys really were like, hey, we want to buy horses, I have a kind of, found some real cool stuff about some different types of things and horses that come with traits and abilities. Ranging from riding horses
Special
to
horses.
draft horse to ponies, and the such that have different temperaments and have different abilities that would raise their prices significantly for some of them. Including things like Brave, where they have a +1 to fear saves, or Quick, where they have a +1 to dexterity saves. Some have, Banes, as in they're skittish, so they have -1 against fear saves, or they're slow, a -1 to dexterity saves. That type of deal. So if you ever really wanted to jump into owning horses, we have that. But for your run-of-the-mill, like, we're renting these horses that are used to it, Yes. It's 20
We're
gold.
super broke right now.
Yeah, it's 20 gold pieces to hold it on retainer and 5 silver pieces for the day once you bring them back. And then you get your 20 gold back, of course.
Yeah.
Cool. I can put the down on it because of all the money that Sierra gave me. So, especially if we're getting it back, yeah, we'll put that retainer down.
Yep, as long as you return
And
the horses back.
And then if it's 5 silver, so then it's technically 2 gold
For
that
the
we'll be
day.
paying.
Yep.
Got it. And
2
is that on
gold.
return?
That is on return. So
Got it.
And that's per each horse too, right?
No, it's 5 gold. It's
No,
5
yeah.
silver for each horse. So it's 2 gold total.
So
on
together,
return.
yes. So five silver pieces. Since you guys are just taking it there and you're only doing the day, it's 5 silver pieces for the horse. And then the 20 gold pieces is so that if you guys kill or lose the horse, they're not losing everything on it. It's not great, but that is usually deters most people from being willy-nilly with their rented horses or trying to steal said horses.
Perfect.
And then
Plus, we live in town.
yeah, plus you live in town, so yeah, they rented to the Blue Dwarf.
I can't get away with shit.
No, absolutely not. The beardless
it-
Blue Dwarf and the Adventurers Guild. Yeah, no, there's no there's
I have a feeling that might actually make people more comfortable with me in some instances. Like, there's no way I could get away with shit. Trust me.
no, not at all. So yes, so you guys put the 80 gold down to get
Yep.
your horses, and then on return it's 2 gold pieces for all 4 horses for the day.
Perfect. Honestly, I will take care of horse discourse for all of us today.
Horse discourse, nice. Yep. So you guys get your horses, and which kind of path were you guys thinking? Did you want to go up, closer to the Whispering Woods? Did you want to take the long way around, go through the Grass Sea? Since you guys are choosing horses, those are the 2 options instead of just taking the river. It's really, do you want to be on the left side of the river or the right side of the river?
Let's do. I mean, do you have a preference, Siren? I trust decisions with nature to you most of the time.
I'd prefer to be closer to the forest, so the right
Cool.
side, right?
We'll
Yep.
do the one through the Whispering Forest, or by the Whispering Woods, or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, you guys go through, and Siren, you have quite a bit of it mapped out, especially closer to Phlan. So you pass by you see the farms on the other side. You think of the different adventures you've had there, and you make your way up. The Quivering Forest, while it still has that eeriness to it that never leaves. You guys are also feel pretty comfortable considering the deals that were made to keep that place more relaxed. And between Siren's map of that part of the area and the forest itself, you guys are able to make your journey unmolested by anything. It is just you're able to get through. It does take, on horses and through that way, it does take about 3 hours. So after everything, you're probably showing up around 2. So as you guys are, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about as you're heading through the Quivering Forest? You've got, it's not the longest journey that you guys have taken together, but there's some time to talk before you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Alder, did you want to pull off the bus for
The what?
Alder?
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
My bad. I was saying, Alder, did you want to speak for a second about the family while we're riding?
Um,
Or are you
are
not
we
ready
able
yet?
to- For me, the question is more: is there any way we can have this discussion where people can't hear, or is this just out in the open here?
I mean, we'd be out in broad daylight technically, but
It
with
would
the
be
sound of horses
it
and
would
being
be-
up front of people.
it wouldn't be you would have to just be like, hey, Siren, Gelt, could you guys ride ahead and give us, you'd have to ask for the room and make that pretty separate. But the forest is relatively quiet, sound does travel relatively far, you would have to make
No, Siren has
quite
very good hearing.
and Siren has
Yeah.
very good hearing. That would be very
Yeah,
difficult to
valid.
pull off.
Yeah, never mind. I was just
Not the
thinking
time
if
and
we had the
place.
time.
Sorry. Nah.
Yeah, maybe
Sometimes
maybe
soon,
another
but not
company.
here. Yeah,
Just wanted to see. Okay.
it's all good.
So you guys continue through. It's a nostalgic kind of feeling for some of you. Also there's just that bit of reasonable anxiety you have whenever you're in the Whispering Forest or the Quivering Woods. Quivering Forest. I'd read off all of the forests earlier, and so I have about I think I was keeping count. There's like 40 plus forests in Phlan.
Oh
So,
joy!
It caught me a little bit. Sorry. So
So
the Quivering
it's a
Forest.
Quivering Forest.
It's
Yeah.
You're fine.
Quivering Forest. So you guys make the trek, and as you're going through, you eventually do see kind of what you're going to assume is the Grimshackle Jail. I've got a really cool thing of text here, so I'm going to read it.
Ooh,
Grimshackle Jail clings like a drowning man to the rocky bank of the Stogenau River. Rotten timbers sag from the tower's walls, and its outbuildings stand in ruin. Rooks nest in the kernels of the tower's battlements. Broad walls encircle the tower's base, where a large gatehouse exits onto the towpath. A slatted peephole is fitted at human eye level in the stout iron-bound door. You have now arrived at the Grimshackle Jail.
As soon as I notice that the peephole is at human eye level, I immediately feel discriminated against.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's totally valid.
But
You
that's
should
just.
take it up with their fucking.
I know where I am.
Yeah.
Take it up with HR.
I'd like to file a formal complaint. What if I came here without my tall friend?
I guess just suffer. So, just some general features as you guys get to Grimshackle Jail. It's around at this point 2 o'clock, so there's still light out. The Quivering Forest. God damn it! Does typically always have a bit of a mist and fog to it. Always seemingly foreboding, no matter what happens in there. You can see that outside that there is an outer wall to the Grimshackle Jail. It's about 15 feet tall. You can see that it appears that there's two. We're just gonna call them what they're listed as, two thugs. Kind of man the kind of outer walls. They on the parapet, which just makes me think of Hamilton every time. So you can see you guys have a pretty good beat on it for a while. Every once in a while you see one of these thugs just walk across, but compared to the tenseness and everything, it's very quiet out here compared to like Phlan. Even with its tense, it's just like, oh, quiet.
Maybe too quiet. Just kidding.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
Yeah. So there's basically a gatehouse that has a door with a slot on it.
Yes. There's only it's the back of the Grimshackle prison backs up to the Stogenau River. So if you're trying to like get in through the back or like hop out, you would just hit, you'd hit the middle of this massive river. So, and then the leading up to it is that kind of that guardhouse, the walls, and then Grimshackle Jail is really just one tall tower, very much like imagine a rook on a chessboard.
Very just classic tower.
Very classic, and like everything outside and around Phlan and just the Moonsea in general, this building does look very old. What it used to be in the past, you can only guess, but it is now used as a prison.
Obvious
For
human
anyone who's
construction.
read or watched Berserk, that's real bad vibes.
Oh,
jail
trust me, I knew.
And yes, it does not bear. Looking at the stonework, you're like, clearly not dwarven.
I can always tell if it is or is not dwarf. Okay, which means if I grab that stone right at the base of the tower, it's just gonna fall over.
Oh gosh.
You know, if you really put your mind to it, you're like, yeah, a good hammer, some stoneworking tools, like a couple well placed strikes here or there. I could
I
knock
feel like
this
that's
all
a
over.
fun pastime for dwarves in foreign places, is to like point out structural weak points to each other.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, there are so many descriptive terms for architectural flaws in Dwarvish, it's insane.
Yeah, for most years, it's like it's actually there's subsects of languages where they only talk in architectural flaws. It doesn't just mean architectural flaws, but it'd be really
Right,
complicated.
it's like dwarvish thieves' camp.
It's like whenever an American listens to a really hammered Scotsman try to explain something to him, where it's like, that's English.
That's not English.
That's all those words are English words, but put together like that, that's a different language.
Dwarves are fun. I mean, we are basically Scotsmen, so that's a good comparison. Cool. I mean, there's only one place to go, so I guess we approach the door.
You approach the door.
There's no place to like tack up horses or anything like that, huh?
I mean, you'd not outside. I mean, you could always just put them out and have them tacked right next to the quivering forest if you want.
No, we're gonna wait. Am I at eye level with the freaking thing if I'm on my horse?
On your horse?
Slit with my on my horse.
Yeah, you might actually be a little too tall for this slit.
Okay, got it. There's no good spot. There's no good height for me. So
Do you want me to hold you up?
No, shut up. As we're approaching, Reyn says, or is gonna give. Basically, I'm gonna have you do the talking, Gelt. So, considering you are a paladin of tier and everything, and I look like the farthest from like a normal gentleman I've ever in my life. It's probably best for you to approach the door and speak. Just as a reminder, this is probably the best way to approach this. You would want to say that we are here basically at the request of the Lord Regent, since we are on job for him, and we are here to speak with Raytheon Hall to see what to perform our duties for the Lord Regent of Phlan.
Okay. Raytheon Hall. All right, we can do that.
As long as we put that foot forward, I think we should be able to get in. I just don't know how this whole thing works with a jail.
True.
So Gelt, you dismount from your horse. You walk up to the front gates and ding ding ding. There, you can hear some muffled footsteps are heard drawing closer. They pause outside the door, and you hear somebody climbing a creaking foot ladder. The peephole snaps open. There's a pair of glaring eyes looking at you. What do you want?
My name is Marchion Geltmore, and me and my party here, we are the... Am I supposed to tell him who we are?
Just let him know that we are here as a group working for the Lord Regent.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, and we've and we've been sent by the Lord Regent to speak with Raytheon Hall.
Alright, good for you. But unless you're planning on buying her, I don't give a fuck.
Throw on the charm, Gelt. That's all I can say. That's all I can say to you in this.
I'm like, the Lord Regent sent us. I'm like, what does this guy say? Well, I'm gonna, and then tell him. I'm like, well, sir, I do implore that you let us in. We have been sent by the Lord Regent.
Does this look like the fucking Lord Regent's house? Nah, it's my fucking jail. If you're not here to give gold, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
Okay.
how much are you asking for her?
There we go.
For her,
Well,
100 gold pieces.
That's it?
Fucking good money. Some fucking bedraggled goddamn Grey Patriot.
Okay. Well, I'll consider the price if you let me see her.
wait, hold on.
Oh,
hold
you
on.
want to see her? It's 10 gold pieces for a half-hour visit.
Oh. And Reyn says, "Oh," like
Sure.
from down on the ground next to you. Yeah, you just fucking.
Yeah, I was like, sure,
do
yeah,
that.
definitely. We got 10 gold for the moment.
Let me see.
I can pull it out and just put it in his
10
hand. There you go, sir.
Yeah, now we're talking. All right.
Who's this?
And so you hear the slot. It's just close. And you hear a wooden foot ladder creak again, and the door.
Is it a fucking dwarf? Is it a fucking dwarf?
And in front of you is a halfling,
How does
and he is the most filthy, bedraggled, crude-looking halfling you have ever met.
joy?
Lovely. And
So we've come to an agreement. Reyn looks up to Gelt and back to the halfling.
we have 30 minutes for 10 gold.
Ah, good. Your ears work. Gold. He holds out his hand.
I already paid him.
How?
No, you didn't hand it to him through the slot.
There's only an
Oh.
islet. Yeah, you would have to been
Oh,
like,
my bad.
you would have to
You
like
had to, like-
Chuck E. Cheese style put all 10 gold coins in.
Ting,
God.
That would be
Ting.
amazing.
ting.
That'll be 100 gold coins, please.
Let me just insert them through the slot singularly.
Literally.
They've got the little light up red buttons on the side for returns.
Oh my god.
Um,
But thank you for paying the man, Gelt.
Yeah, no problem.
so he takes that and leads you guys in. So I've got something for this. So hold on.
Do we have a place to put our horses?
There
Yeah,
is
hold your horses.
there is a place for the horses, and the halfling barks in some orders, and you can see that there's a number of thugs around, the two on the parapets, one kind of in the yard who has a two-handed crossbow that was trained on the door, and you hear the halfling and the thugs come down and take your horses and start getting them all set up. As you guys head in, let me put the map.
Sounds good. Also, real quick, Dom, I apologize, but before we get into the next part, I'm just gonna do my quick portent rolls, just so they're noted.
Yep.
So I got an 8 and a 14, just for the record.
8 and a 14 for the record. All right, before we continue
Yep.
on, let me wait until this is all the way loaded up. It's taking a second. All right, I believe it's there.
Oh man, I always get scared when there's an actual map to go along with the location.
So this is the Grimshackle Jail. You guys are in the so in the bottom right. That's level 1. That is the courtyard. I'm gonna bring up mine as well because it's easier to look on my computer screen than it is to look on Discord for me right now. So, right there, you have been led in through the entrance. Like I said, the walls are about 15 feet high. You are entering in. You can see there's two smaller, two doors that lead to number 2 and number 3. Your horses are taken over to number 2, the kind of ruined stables. You can see what remains of kind of a smithy over to your right. You enter into the hall, and while you're there, you see another halfling who is the exact spitting image of the halfling you just encountered. They appear to be twins. They're both equally filthy, equally bedraggled, and equally crude.
Joy.
And they are introduced as Bevik and Ukarum, the Grimshackle brothers.
Ah, so the illustrious Grimshackle brothers who run this place.
Indeed. Yeah, what of it? So you guys,
No.
You own. Okay, when Reyn figures that out, he does just flat out say, "You own this place. Why don't you have a slot that's like low enough for you? They're for people that never mind. Never mind. You know what? I'm not gonna question your practices."
because whatever sorry bastards built this place clearly aren't halflings.
Very true.
So, with that crude remark, you guys go up a cramped spiral staircase. It punches through the heart of the prison tower. Archways open onto each floor. It kind of gives you an eerie glimpse of the dank stone corridors, barred cell doors, and scurrying river rats. As you go halfway up, you pass a cell door reinforced with iron bars in a length of change. Seeing you all looking, Beric simply mutters, "Pirates." And looking through, you see that there is a massive minotaur inside. Just you're just like, wow, like that's a dude who might actually be able to look down on Virgil. He's
Damn.
that is a big minotaur. Big minotaur. That's a total unit over there.
A thick boy.
There's a thick boy. There's a song I want to play for that, but we'll play it at a different time. So you guys continue heading up through the various levels. So level 1, kind of you see other different guards kind of milling about. Some seated at the hall. This, that, and the other. You make it up. It is I believe it's the second or it's the third floor that houses that minotaur. You can see that there's seemingly quite a few different prisoners here of different size, stature, and race. Typically, it looks like mostly humans. You see maybe you see that the only other dwarf in here, Reyn, is actually one of the guards, who gives you kind of a side-eyed look as you continue on. You can continue all the way until you hit the very top level, the 4th level, if you want to be very specific. The bandit cell is at the very top of the tower, near a small guard room. Bevik unlocks the cell door and hands you his lantern, because inside here there's no windows, and besides the lanterns, there's no light in here. Especially this top floor. There's a couple places of holes and loose stones that let in a couple strands of light, but for the most part, even though it's 2 in the afternoon, it is pitch black in most of the prison.
Joy.
You're handed the lantern, and he says, "All right, yours for half a bell. And waits outside the room, for more towards the guard room, and there's a half orc clad in filthy rags, is held in the cell, lashed to the wall by her wrists and fettered with heavy chains. She winces at you through kind of wet plastered hair, and you hear her croak out, "You're no jailers." Why are you
No.
here?
Because we have questions. I believe we intercepted a message that you were trying to get back to your boss. And we were informed that you were here and indisposed for the time being, I guess is a blunt way to put it. And we figured we'd come and pick your brain for a second to see what other info we can get about what's going on in Phlan and on the Iron Route and everything.
She... Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Got it.
Reynglian.
That's going to be a 16.
16. That'll do. She looks at you and says, "All right, I know why you're here. You're looking for Sahnd. And I'll tell
At
you,
the end of the day, yes.
I'll tell you right now. I tell you where that bastard is right now. Tell you about that dragonborn he's at war with, but I tell you all of it. But first you gotta earn it. So either get me out of here, or get me to a better cell. One or the other. I don't care which."
Give me a moment. Reyn,
Reyn, I'm like, we could buy her for 100 gold.
how much money do you have on you?
After that, 45 gold.
Well, no, but you have 145 gold on you?
No, only 45.
Okay, got it. Sorry,
You
just
know-
making sure.
Before we spend money, you can always try my trick.
Haggle. Also, this is like slavery if they're selling a prisoner, and I'm not too fond of that.
Wait, hold on. We literally stepped so we can have a hush conversation, not right in front of her technically.
Mhm.
I will remind you, Gelt, that if we purchase her, then we are buying her out from underneath Chab, because he said he was going to come here and get her himself, which is a very bad fate. But I'm trying to grapple with whether I would rather deal with the consequences of him or let somebody free. So this is a difficult talk.
I'm just saying that's one option if she's wanting to. But we have to. Does Chab want to know where Sam is? Because that's where what we're trying to do right now is figure out where Sam is.
Chab's on a warpath. Whoever he's trying to get his hands on, he's trying to do dark things to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that at this point. He was very clear about what he was saying when he was in our...
Yes, and that's we just shouldn't be in his path mainly.
Okay, point being, I think... Gelt, I don't know exactly how your tricks work. Do you just need time to try?
Wait, what?
No, not Gelt, Alder. My apologies. I always get the wrong name. Alder, your tricks.
Yeah. Let me just try and read some thoughts. Ask some questions.
The only...
Ask some questions about Sahnd. Give me a chance to probe, and let's see what I can dig up.
Okay, give me one more moment. I'm going to go ask the Grimshackle brother over there a quick question. Just to kind of weigh everything. As he walks over to the Grimshackle brother who had let us up here.
That's gonna be Bevik.
Bevik?
Yeah, Bevik. Bhevek. Bevik.
Bevik. Thank you. So, quick question. How much to get her into a better cell?
Better sell? No chance of that. But we can make her life easier. Get her a blanket to sleep on, maybe some better meals. Depends. How much gold you willing to cover that?
Reyn is weighing options in his mind.
You know, you're all hearing this and thinking to yourselves, this is the greediest little fucking halfling I've ever met in my life.
I know, right? Well, let's
You're
ask
thinking
her
of,
if
like,
that even works
Hup and
before we
Grinna, the
put gold
halflings who
on it.
run the leaky bucket, and you're just like, they're so nice.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to these guys?
Well, and the freaking Verona family.
Exactly. All the halflings you guys have met, super nice and kind. These guys fucking suck.
Well, Reyn doesn't have anything to spend money on in the near future, so he's going to say, what does 20 gold look like?
20 gold, huh? That seems like new bedding and hot meals instead of just whatever temperature they get them at. And let's go ahead. Tell her that.
Okay. Thank you. As Reyn just has visible disdain on his face as he walks back over to the party.
And Bevik has the exact opposite look of joyous greed.
As the party heard what just was said, and Reyn says, if that's a very small price to pay to have her speak everything in her truth without us to interpret what her memories are. And you can still read her mind while we're doing it. So I'm willing to pay the money to and hopefully she is okay with that. Enough to be able to speak to us. Fair?
Fair.
All right.
Good. He enters back into Raythine's cell, and he says, so, apparently there are no cells that they can move you to, but fresh bedding and hot meals can be purchased.
She pauses, considers this, then nods and says, all right. What do you want to know?
Well, you seem to be very upset with Sahnd. Let's start with what's going on with the Grey Patriots, I suppose.
I can tell you that they've left me here to fucking rot.
Considering they seem to be a militia organization that's working outside of the law, that is honestly surprising that they haven't tried to take you.
Yeah, I came to the same fucking conclusion. They've had the better part of a whole 10-day to get me out of here, and here I am. Metal chafing and all. So yeah, I got no fucking loyalty to them.
So, the stuff going on with, the Claws of Tiamat, the Grey Patriots, is this conflict actually real and what's going on out there and everything? Nobody in Phlan has a good eye on what's happening out in the wilds.
Not surprising. Neither one of those groups tend to get anywhere too close to Phlan. Who would have thought?
True.
So what are you really asking me here, Dwarf?
I guess it's a twofold question. What has I have things come to a head between the two, and it's actually all out war right now? And is that relevant to why all of the assassinations and everything have been tried to be pulled in Phlan now of all times?
Well, I'll be honest. It's not like me and Sahnd are best friends or anything like that. If you wanted Sand's best friends, you're probably gonna want to talk to Rue's little Eric or Kai Tyranny. That's his. Those are all of his number twos. So, for everybody to write down, there is Ruse, Ruse, one of the lieutenants of Kruelek. They're a Talishon berserker, Talishon being one of the southernmost points of Faerun before you head out to sea and then eventually sail over to Cholt. And then a Kalashite, who is part of Kalishan, another kind of southern part of Faerun, and called Little Eric, and Eric is spelled Erik. You learn that Ruse is blind in her left eye, and that little Eric believes that he is cursed. Once upon a time, a hag once told him that the hoot of a screech owl would foreshadow his death. And then last is, this one's going to be the hard spell, is a moon elf archer named Kai, Kai, Tyran, Tyran, Uviel, Uviel, who allegedly wields a magic bow. So that's that's the Grey Patriots.
What does he believe the curse is? Sorry, just one more time.
That he's gonna die at the hoot of a screech owl. That a hag, so she lets you know that he's a big, dumb, superstitious type.
Was that 3 or 4 people, Dom?
That's 3. Ruse,
Okay,
Little Eric, and Kai
Kai.
Tyran Uviel.
Uviel.
Yes. So
Okay.
Kai Tyran Uviel has a first, middle, and last name.
Ooh, that's how you stay famous.
True.
Were all of them Blackfist to begin with, or has he been hiring people into the Grey Patriots from outside of the region?
Those 3, yeah, they're all old Grey Patriots, but most of them now, different highwaymen they've been picked up off the road, other people interested in fucking up things outside of Phlan. I mean,
So an actual group of outlaws now.
yeah, they don't like to consider themselves as such, but if you spend most of your days raiding up and down the iron routes and hiring old ex-mercenaries to perform your dirty work, yeah, I'd call that outlaws.
So, go ahead, Alder.
I was gonna say, and these lieutenants, these second in command here, do you know where they're stationed at?
So wherever Sand's at, they're at. They're hardly ever far away.
Do you know
And
where
do
Sahnd
you
would
know
be?
where they're at?
Well, I know what they're supposed to be.
Where's that?
And where's that?
King's Pyre. Go ahead and roll me a history check on King's Pyre.
I'm gonna try, even though I'm bad at it. Nope, I got a 5.
Yeah. 2.
That's gonna be a 24 for me.
That's what I'm talking about,
24.
my good boy.
Yeah, right.
You're like, King's Pyre? I've read about that. I have seen drawings of that. King's Pyre is located about 40 miles west of Phlan, along the Iron Route. It's right up against the Moonsea. It's an old statue from a bygone era of a king sitting, like a gigantic, think like Colossus of Rhodes style, of a king sitting, and there's not other much significance to it, but you are aware of where it's at, and that there's kind of 2 ways to get there. You can either drop down on it from north of that, and then you kind of go down a path and you can get to King's Pyre. You've also heard of and / read that there are some caves underneath that historians have yet to figure out what exactly they were for, but there's another way to get out there. So you're like, oh yeah, I know King's Pyre. Well, read about King's Pyre.
Cool. So, Raythene, are you one of the old guard, I guess, to put it, or are you one of these new, the Grey Patriots?
well, I think I'd be considered one of the new ones. They picked me up after things went south with the Red Plumes.
Explain. Oh, with the Red Plumes falling apart?
Well, the Red Plumes have been called back to Hillsfar. There's hardly any Red Plumes out and about in the other cities right now.
Yeah, I had noticed that the Merc House had kind of been closed up in Phlan.
Yeah, I used to be stationed there, but after one call back to Hillsfar, I decided that if I'm gonna get paid to kill people, it's gonna be on my terms.
You don't want to go back to Hillsfar that bad.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen and what I've heard, Hillsfar's got a demon problem. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of things I'd be willing to face, but I don't fuck with demons.
Demon or devil? Very specifically demon?
Very specifically demon, so I've been told. But I didn't stick around to find out. Hence why,
Obvious.
not a Red Plume anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah, people, I'd kill people all day. Demons, that's a different story.
I used to think the same way, but there's a righteousness in taking care of folk by beating out the things that they can't handle.
Yeah, well, if you're ever interested, I'm sure Hillsfar would be happy to have you.
It's definitely info of note, regardless, not to what we're currently dealing with, but thank you. Okay, so I guess my next question might not necessarily apply because you weren't there and part of the Grey Patriots when they left. But do you know if Sahnd has any proof of the conspiracy that he speaks of?
Proof? I could find in the books and in the money and who gets paid by who. He's got a whole thing about it. Me personally, I think it's just somebody who's bitter that they're not Lord Regents. Bitter that they're not cashing in on the whole thing, but that's my opinion. You could always ask them. They'd be happy to tell you. Something about after the last Lord Protector died at a construction site, and then who owns the construction sites, and then who's paying the Black Fists, and then how some fake nobility, and I gotta be honest, I'd stop paying attention.
But he
At
doesn't.
this point,
Go ahead.
At this point, I am going to go ahead and cast Detect Thoughts, and I will just say, this might tingle, but I promise you'll be all right. And I would like to know the surface level thoughts with that one, please.
Surface level thoughts. Ranges. The first thing is you get the surface thought of how painful having your wrists shackled up in that, how much of the skin has been rubbed away by being shackled for that long period of time. And then surface thoughts, you get very, very quickly how mad Ratheen is at the Grey Patriots. Just the total disdain at this point. The surface thoughts, yes. Disdain towards Sahnd Kruelek, pain, and hope for a fucking hot meal for the first time in 10 days.
And
Also,
while you're doing that, continue.
Oh, also, very, very true. While she's playing it off as in, I don't fuck with it, you can sense a very real fear of demons from Ratheen Hall.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very, very palpable.
To redirect the conversation to see if it pops anything in her head, he's just going to reiterate. So he doesn't have like a, quote unquote, bloody dagger that proves it all or anything like that. That's my version of smoking gun in a world without guns.
Oh, he's got plenty of bloody daggers, just not any from Phlan recently. And all they're the surface thoughts that you pick up. You can see, you see the image of kind of a, I believe it's a, let me look. Is it a wagon or a tent with Sahnd Kruelek in it? And you can see inside that there's books and different objects in a chest and gold and
so they raided a bunch of stuff.
and just her just casually thinking about the many different kind of things they've acquired, trinkets and clothing and gold and supplies, but no, lots of bloody daggers, but mostly ones that she's used.
Not a. I meant that as a like smoking gun, but yeah, I get. Perfect.
Definitely understand what you meant, but that's definitely what she's thinking of.
Perfect.
It's like bloody dagger, huh? You do.
Okay. No proof.
You do see very vividly, though. A point of note. Where is it? You see maps, papers, and then you do see a very nice treasure chest that is sprinkled with dust, and the thought of just like, weird fucking thing always putting dust on your chest. And Sahnd Kruelek's possessions. You see that very clearly.
Weird dust. Okay, interesting. Is there a particular time that I don't know how I'm trying to approach this. Is there ever a time when he's most vulnerable? When we might be able to approach him when he's on his own or something like that? Or is he always at this point?
At this point, he's always got somebody right around, but if you're ever going to catch him off guard, it's probably during negotiations.
And then I will go ahead at that point too and probe deeper to see something bigger that's kind of looming in their head. That's something I can look for with that one. And I'm going to use the 8 on the portent. So they roll 8 plus whatever on their save, but
0.
that will probably fail. Yeah.
So you dig in deeper, and looking at those words, you see plans and conversations, and when you dig in deep, she thinks of a conversation of Sahnd talking about an armistice with the claws of Tiamat to help build a larger force to take Phlan.
Jesus.
While she wasn't a part of the actual conversation, you start getting down to the crux of it, and from what she understands, is that the Claws and the Grey Patriots are losing too many people with their fight. And that the armistice is to see if they can come to some sort of agreement. That Sahnd truly does want to take Phlan back from the Lord Regents, back from Chab, back from the nobles. Sahnd wants Phlan to be under the Grey Patriots' control.
Okay, you'll have to tell us that once we leave this cell.
Oh, I will, and I am making notes.
I assume that Alder is literally just like jotting down notes as he's probing.
It's like one hand on the spell book and then notebook on top. Write that down.
A quill in both hands, just double writing. Double fisting quills.
You got the magic. So there, and she said something about a meeting basically out loud. So Reyn says some kind of, you'd said a meeting? When? Negotiations?
I'm sure wouldn't be surprised if they're happening right now. The King's Pyres, where Sahnd and the Grey Patriots and the Claws of Tiamat we're planning on meeting and probably hold up in until they come to some sort of agreement.
Okay.
It was supposed to start once we got back from from our missions in Phlan, but
Things fell apart.
yeah, well, you thought that we had everybody paid right. Alder, when she says this, her immediate thoughts turn to the welcomers.
Did
Those sneaky devils.
someone renege on their promises?
Well, if you got what you said it was a message, right? Intercepted?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose so.
Only one group is the one that we've been working with inside Phlan. That would be who reneged.
So
I will go ahead to. We'll continue probing deeper, and since I completed that first one, if she wants to break out of it, she can roll her intelligence against mine.
She doesn't.
Okay. Cool.
She
just making getting info easier.
Yeah. Currently is chained in a prison with knowing that it's probably going to be a bad way out no matter what. And right now, this is one, the most exciting thing that's happened in days. Two, it matters. You're finding as you're probing your mind that she's very much who's number one for Athene Hall? She's number one for Athene Hall. So this is about as she's willing to give as much as she can get. And right now, hot meals in a blanket before what is probably going to be an execution at some point. Yep, those small creature comforts are worth it.
I guess in the
but
last
if you do
little bit
dig
of time
deeper,
go
on
ahead.
on that welcomers, you see Rathine speaking to a tiefling, and an agreement is made. Plans are set up. Go ahead and roll me intelligence, an intelligence check with your magic to see if you can get the full picture of this.
Ooh.
Not a great roll on that one. That's a 10.
A 10? Yeah, you can see that she's thinking of a conversation she had with a tiefling of the welcomers.
Gotcha.
And you can see a note is passed between them.
So
Makes sense. That's our one.
He just took it and just gave it to us. Thanks, Clovis. Holy shit. Sorry, I will recompose myself to Reyn. As he asks, so I guess if we're gonna be running into him, is Sahnd is a capable fighter at this point in his life still, correct? Someone to take seriously in that regard?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, well, yeah, he's a fighting comes with the belief system that he has. He's
okay.
old.
It just sounded like just sounded like there was a lot of gold being passed around to make sure that people were loyal. So I wanted to see if he was still in that tip-top shape or not. Because he might not necessarily need to be to keep this group in line if he's paying them.
Well, I would say that he's a bit of both.
Okay.
And Alder, you pick up. Yep, he's full knights. And you do see an image of Sahnd Kruelek. And it is just like the wanted poster has. You can see that he is in full plate. He has the gray hoods of the Grey Patriots with the scratched out black fist symbol on it, though he does wear a singular black glove on one hand.
Got it.
Does anybody else in the group have any particular questions for Miss Hall?
No.
I might just want to double check and just reiterate a couple things just to make sure I got it all down right. So, one, We know that there's probably negotiations going on. And to be clear, you believe that that might be going on right now at King's Pyre, correct?
Yep. And then in her mind, JoJo style, yes, yes, yes.
And then last, again, just want to get your opinion. What is it that you do really think Sahnd Kruelek wants?
And she says, I don't really know. And then you see the image of a black hand. Roll me a religion.
Ooh.
Damn, bad. No, it's too late.
No,
Bad
you
roll.
can. You can. What are you trying to do here? Were you going to use your other portents?
I was probably gonna use my other portent.
That up to you. You can choose whether or not you want to.
I will go ahead. So that'll be an 18 total.
An
for that
18?
one.
That's the
Yeah.
symbol of Bane.
Fuck.
Ooh.
She does not know what that is. But you know what that symbol is.
Bane and Tiamat?
This is bad. This is very bad. Okay, cool.
Makes sense
I'll
why
freak
they'd
out
be
about that
working
more
with
character.
Claus.
Yeah, or why he'd be willing to potentially.
Yeah.
Okay then.
And Alder, with your history, I don't need you to roll on it. You know that the Black Fist used to be an extension of the Church of Bane.
Oh my god.
You guys, we'll say, out of character, let's all take a step back. You guys have actually been to the Lyceum of the Black Lord, the old Church of Bane. That is where you found that obelisk and that Grick and those Black Fists.
Right.
And those Black Fists that were having secret prisoners.
Yeah, that's right.
In there. So that's so you guys have you have encountered Black Fists that still hold to the old ways of Bane. That the old Black Fists used to all be followers of Bane. And for those of us who don't know, Bane is the god of tyranny, fear, murder, lawful evil to a fault. And once again, very popular. Used to be very popular in all of the Moonsea. Now has had has taken a step back post Second Sundering, or for those of us who want to know big games, the start of 5e.
Exactly. They always have to come up with some like clever story reason for why things are different in the new editions. So fuck
Yep.
it, sunderings, spell plagues, cool shit.
Yes. So during the Second Sundering, Bane has been resurrected, but is not the dead three are not the all stoppable evil they once were nowadays. But as different Phlanites and everything, the Moonsea region used to be a big stronghold for Baneites, is what they're called.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, I can't think of anything else that I would have to ask you right now, Raythene. Thank you for speaking with us and being honest.
All right, thanks for the new sleeps and the new eats.
You're very welcome.
You hear that, you little fucking halfling bastard? That's what thank you sounds like. Listen, you half-orc bitch. Which one of us is inside a jail, which one isn't? Yeah. Hey, Odavik! Talking mad shit again!
Technically, we're all in a jail right now.
Odavik!
Mm-hmm.
And
Jailers is second jail too.
as he calls down to Unavik, there is... Everybody make me an insight check.
Oh jeez.
Oh, shit.
Oh no. That's a 10.
That's a
Oh,
21?
no, sorry. That's 12, actually.
12, 21,
That's a 14.
14.
I got a 12 as well.
The 21. Is that's alarm. That's fear. And as you turn around to be like, wait, what the... you all begin to hear muffled shouts are heard from somewhere below. A bell starts clanging, and on the air you catch the telltale whiff of smoke. That's the
There's a
prisoner
fire.
alarm. Torm's teeth. Fuck, that's Whorlbarrow.
What?
And as you hear now very clearly, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding,
there's
ding,
a
ding.
riot or something.
Reyn grabs the liar and starts running.
Yeah, let's
Wait.
go.
Wait.
Yeah.
As you're just like, so you see, Bevik starts to, with his little halfling legs, begins to head downstairs. He's like, wait. If that's true, bust me out of here. I can take you to King's Pyre. Like, open that up. Help me get out of this.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? In the chaos, fuck it, right?
Yep, she just escaped. In the chaos of it all, she just escaped. He makes eye contact with everybody in the party. He says, in the chaos of it all, she just escaped.
Çiaran smiles so big.
As he goes to start breaking chains.
So you have two options. You could either try to, so you guys did step into the cell, so to speak. It was more of you were on the outside speaking in. So you can either try to break these iron bars, or it does have a lock. So if somebody has thieves' tools, they could attempt to get that out.
Alder.
It'd be thieves' tools times, ain't it?
Roll
He
me.
gives you a pat on the back and gives you inspiration just in case.
I will make use of that. That's a D6, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Be a
that
lady.
helps out greatly. So yeah, so that's a 16.
A 16. It's open.
Yes.
We open it up, and
Sure.
are there like locks on her like wrists or anything like that, or are we gonna need to just bust her?
There are locks on there. A quick thieves' tool would definitely help. But they can be broken. It's one of those where if you were the one in them, very difficult. If you're out of them, super easy.
Oh, wait. Idea. As instead of having you thieves tools them, I am just going to break the chains in an attempt to make it look like she busted.
Go roll athletics.
Oh, that's a nat 20 for 25.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
You're a little surprised how easy that goes, but now that you're here, you're like, she's definitely, even as a half-orc, you're like, oh, she's malnourished.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're able to push, and she lets her hand and is like, hey, thanks.
You're very welcome. All right. I have a feeling we're still going to have a fight on our hands getting that place if there's some kind of riot going on. So let's keep each other close and get the fuck out of here.
Fair enough. Let's go.
Pretty fair.
Let's go.
He hands Wraith the he hands her one of his hand.
She takes the hand axe and she's about to say, hey, don't take this the wrong way. I'm real thankful, but I'm gonna let you guys go first.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to make sure you're armed.
Thanks. So you guys head down. Let me pull up the map.
By the way, it is 4:30. I don't remember what our time frame was on today.
You know, I think for this one, I think this is a perfect time to call it for today. I think
Okay.
we'll call this here. I know we've got some time. We got a little bit of a late start. However, I don't want to rush this next part, and you guys get a lot of information very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So
This was such a lucrative little jaunt.
Yeah.
well, it definitely also helps having the ability to read thoughts, especially as somebody who does not have a strong wisdom score.
Alder.
True.
So choice.
I will say, normally we wait until the end, but on this one, there are points to earn experience whilst we're going about the adventure. So everybody go ahead for because essentially getting to the Grimshackle jail and getting the information from Rathine Hall, the adventure, allots you guys 250 experience points. A
A piece?
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
That's awesome.
it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah,
No,
there's a
it's
lot. There are
not.
a lot of ways to fuck this one up.
Yeah.
250, you said?
250 experience points. Go ahead and everybody add that to your account.
Sweet.
Yes. So, when we return, we will see what's happening on the lower floors of the Grimshackle jail, and go from there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I fluffed a little bit of that experience points, mostly for very good RP during the interview process.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. The going to the jail thing is actually really fun. You've done a good job of setting the scene of how fucking terrible this place is.
Oh yeah, this place fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Private prisons suck in real life. Fantasy private prisons need to suck extra hard.
Yup. Good shit. Good shit. I'm excited for the next one.
Yeah. Tuesday, same time, same place. It should be rock and rolling.
Perfect.
Hold on. Since Alder, you rolled such a good history check on King's Pyre. Luckily, there's something for that.
Ooh.
Let me make sure.
Extra info. Let me get the book out.
Yes. It's actually a picture. So let me make sure I put the right one on. Because there's multiple versions of it. One's for you guys, one's for me. That's the one we're looking for.
Oh, is it one of those maps that you could show both of us?
Yes, it is one of those maps I can show both of us. There's one for me that is to help me, and then one for you guys for aesthetic purposes. So,
Very nice.
this is King's Pyre.
That's
oh,
awesome.
that's so cool.
Wow. Okay, it's like into a cliffside, sort of.
It is.
Oh, that's very cool.
So that is King's Pyre. Like I said, is kind of like that big, Colossus style. So you can kind of see in there for scope and size. It's sizable. There's quite a bit going on there. So, but yes, minus the things, the clearly people things there. Alder, you have seen a drawing of this. You know that. Oh, this is King's Pyre. So, for rolling a 24 on your new history proficiency, that's what you get.
Oh,
Yeah. Put in the time. Here you go.
The double waterfall around the giant statue is just like, that's a fucking aesthetic. That's a king who knows what he wanted.
Oh, there's a lot of big mood on this one. Plus, I've been waiting to get to this place for quite some time.
Oh,
This is one of the ones that when I read about this way, 13 weeks ago, 13, 14 when this all started, just being like, no way. That's incredible. How do we get... Oh, okay, we're going to need to earn our way to get there, because had this been like a, here you go, level 1s and 2s.
yeah, exactly.
I like challenging you guys, but that's not a challenge. That's a
murder.
Yeah, that's me just seeing how long you guys can roll until I kill you all, which is less fun for everybody.
Awesome. Getting more pieces of the puzzle with like Sahnd and like his intentions and everything. Once to act about what Alder learned in his mind, like, yeah, it's starting to look a little bit less gray and a little bit more like they're definitely the bad guys.
It should have dawned on me too so much with how you kept saying Sahnd was like an old guard, Black Fist and all. it should have dawned on me, like, oh yeah, dude, the Blackfist used to like fucking
Fucking
worship Bane.
Bane.
Like, of course the old guard is gonna sympathize with that. Like, fuck, why didn't I think of it? You know?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It's like we had the pieces as players, we just didn't put it together as
We just
players
did not
right away.
put 2 and 2.
Like
Yep,
in V for
pretty much.
Vendetta, detectives, or was it investigator? You have all the pieces. What you need is a story.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're seeking out, is to finally the man him fucking self and see if he's just a raving, pissed off person who feels like he's been spited, or if he is actually really thinking that this is a true conspiracy.
Oh, he could think it's a conspiracy
Yeah.
against Bane.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
he's still a person
like
of Bane. I mean, he's pretty,
worshipper, like,
actually, yeah, at this point, it's pretty cut and dry. He is the bad guy. And we're taking
even
it, man.
Çiaran is like, oh wow, this is a little clearer cut.
Like Chab is bad, but he's the evil we know, and also technically owe money. So yeah,
At
this
the
is
very
pretty
least,
terrible.
at the very least, you guys are 100% certain Chab is not a Baneite. You're like 100%
Yeah.
certain. While Chab has his flaws, worshipping Bane is not one of them.
Yeah, so this is a lot more cut and dry than it was to start with, but I
Well-
still think that, still not, because Chab is still a dick, and that whole thing notwithstanding, but whether or not Sahnd Kruelek is an evil man deserving of being brought in and seeking, I'm going to put big quotes around justice, in the city of Phlan. Is
That
probably
that
something we
justice
all
has a
agree
very
on
different
now.
ring when that kind of justice, because in many ways, Bane does have justice, just a different kind. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun to give you guys
Yeah.
these pieces, because boy, I've been sitting on some of these for a while.
Yeah, and yeah, it makes everything, it makes me feel more.
Ooh, you cut out. I
Makes
did.
me
I
feel
missed that
more
part.
trusting of
There
the
it is.
people of Phlan. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to pride myself on making sure that whatever it is that, like, even if it doesn't make sense at the time, that it still makes sense.
Mhm.
So really now now you guys have new questions, like,
Mhm.
okay, like, the Welcomers had a piece of this, but how deep is that piece? Phlan.
And
Yeah, keep going.
well, and did they decide that their commitment to, like, their working and existing in Phlan was more important than helping them, and that's why they've turned on them at this point? Or, like, did the Welcomers get a chance to see that, whoops, they're trying to do a full-blown invasion, and that's when they turned? There's a lot of interesting questions.
If I remember right, wasn't that Tiefling's words to you something along the lines of, like, wanting to make some good ties or connections for the things to come? Or something like that?
Oh, I get. You know what? You're right.
They intentionally leaked that to us because they probably see something that's coming, or the battle that's kind of coming with that, and they want to be on good ties with us and Phlan for it, you know?
Valid. Yeah.
and think
I
of it.
mean, even
That
even
part
they
makes a lot
could
more sense.
probably see that like a team up of Bane and fucking Tiamat is
Yeah.
Is bad.
Yeah.
And plus, like, how much do the Wanderers have right now? But if they get in good standing and help with all this, now they have some actual bargaining chips to maybe, like, get a little bit more back that they've lost.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
my guess. That's their angle.
Yep. Well, we still know that they are turning on people in order to get a better name for themselves. So we'll take what they do with the greatest.
Yeah,
Welcomers.
still
Welcomers.
classic.
Yeah, I mean,
Still the Welcomers.
you're just like, oh, that is such classic Welcomers right
Welcomers,
there.
yeah.
You're just like, oh, look at that. You're like, wait, you cheeky bastards.
To be fair,
To be
we
fair,
we went from them trying to murder us in our first adventure to now giving us secret information. So they're pretty good about turning around their reputation with people sometimes, or at least their working relationship.
It's more so they have a working relationship with us. I don't know that they're necessarily good.
Oh no,
but-
not at all. But if I ever got a stray hair up my ass to try and hire somebody to do something sketchy, I'd go to the Welcomers.
You know, we are learning of a big theme through these modules / the entire adventure together is what are you willing to work with to do the greater good? That's
Yep.
what's more important. And we're going to find out the question of these because you guys are in the perfect position to see a lot of different pieces and decide, all right, what are we willing to swallow to deal with the forces at B? And you guys are probably some of the only people really of Phlan who know of the various forces that are working against not just Phlan but the world itself, including but not limited to the Cult of the Dragon, the Red Wizards of Thay, the apparently now the Bay Knights, a leakage of Limbo stuff. I mean, they're just. Once upon a time, you guys were concerned about bad deals with fake dragon eggs and rescuing people from goblins. Now look at you guys, and we're not even level 5 yet.
Right? With the information that we have, we could start a riot by just telling stories out in the town square. Just like, hi, look how bad the world is. Everybody's scared, run away.
Hey, did you guys know that there's this thing called the Cult of the Dragon?
They've actually been here for years, all this time.
What do they want? Not entirely sure, because you guys have seen some Cult of the Dragons looking for these things called Dragon Masks. You've seen other ones that seem to be looking for Draco Liches. It doesn't matter what it is. It just always seems to be bad for you and all the people around you.
Yeah, we've seen, like, the Tiamat name come up once or something. I don't know.
There have been
Everything's
devils thrown into the mix now.
There's demons across the fucking Moonsea now. Like,
Yep,
that
things
was,
are. There's
I very
some.
much wanted to make sure that those were demons and not devils, because that may have been like a.
Yeah, Siren
Oh.
definitely leaned forward in her chair when he said
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
heard that, too, I was like, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep,
But
I
it
can.
makes sense that the red plume mercenaries have disappeared if there's fucking demons in fucking whatever the name of that city is.
Yep, there are things are happening. So a bit of step out of the game and more of a storyline. The second set of modules, the Elemental Evils one, takes place in Mulmaster, and the on the third storyline they went through was Rage of Demons, which happens in Hillsfar.
There we go.
So
that's the Rage of Demons storyline playing out basically.
that is the starting of those ones. Whether or not we jump into that, it depends on once the big pieces start to get played, where you guys want to focus your attention. And if it's still the Moonsea, which I will totally understand if you want to, then those things need to come into factor. So let's make sure that we have all of our pieces placed. So there's dragon stuff in Phlan, elemental evil stuff in Mulmaster, and demon stuff in Hellsfar. The Moonsea is a rough place.
Yeah. I want to go to the between those three places, figure out what fuck you vortex is there.
Yeah. Also, just the limbo stuff is going to be a cool thing.
Yeah, I think that of all of the things we've heard about may be our most immediate problem after we deal with Phlan being a fucking mark.
I feel like that could be the wild card thing, at least compared to all the other things we've learned right now, you know? Like, it's been pretty straight with, like, Cult of the Dragon and now Bane here, and then God knows what's gonna happen when we just see this fucking leaking whatever, you know? Like,
Yeah, but that is essentially a magical natural disaster that is currently happening in Roll towards Phlan.
Yep,
you
and
know.
you guys are the first to really report such a thing. You guys do know, especially after your trek up to the Temple of the Scale, that that is outside civilized Phlan. That is at that point up there. That's where monsters live. Yeah, there's manticore. You've encountered manticores up there. You know that the wildlife is getting twisted. I mean, you saw squirrels the size of dogs at one point. The the scored juice is the least harmful thing there, and it permanently changed one of you. That's what happens like early on in this, and like you went out and got that. That's like something that is kind of containable. Imagine what happens if the whole river gets polluted with that.
This is magic radiation we're dealing with, basically.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is. +1. Yes, I've been...
less a natural disaster and more of a, oops, the magic generator broke and now it's leaking.
Yes, and Çiaran, very much like a Fraus saying, "Hey, so here's where this vase of fortune is." You being like, "Hey, we have a problem here," and then being like, "Wait, what? Wait, what?"
Hey guys, help.
Which is good, because I believe somebody's about due for perhaps a secret mission. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel.
now that Sahnd Kruelek and the Iron Patriots seem to be more actually evil, I don't feel as bad about completing our Xenotrim secret mission of bringing him in alive.
I'm surprisingly not. I don't have a lot of problems anymore with bringing him in.
Yep, I'm glad that we had to like clash as a party as part of all of that, but I'm glad that the general decision of bringing him in is.
It's unfortunate that we've harmed our relationship with Chab, but at least we know who he is now.
Honestly, I would have rather have found it out sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a new understanding. It's just one of those ones where, when you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's literally the best way to put it.
Some solid BoJack Horseman. It's...
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things where I've said to almost everybody, but I'll say it again, that that session was rough, and I almost thought I went too hard because I, as Dom, did not want to be in conflict with the party. But
it's kind of close to being too much, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was right on that line, but also I'm not Dom. I'm not. Chab is not self-insert for Dom.
Yeah.
No,
if anything, while you love him, he is not a self-insert of you.
No, I am not Chab. Chab, I guess, would be... I'm Chab's self-insert, I suppose. The other way around. So, and it'll just mean that when this is done, and I'll draw this, we're going to have to set up some new boundaries between us.
Yeah.
What we have right here is a lack of boundaries.
And I think the party will make it pretty clear with him that we want those boundaries to be established in both directions.
It's one of those where it's a complicated relationship, because even if you guys didn't want to, you're still gonna have to deal with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
there's no getting around that.
Nope. I mean, however, you do know that he's, when it comes to business, you guys are good on that. You have a full 10 days on there, so the foundations of all the supplies are there, and the foundations for your barn has been set up. I didn't get a chance to iterate that, but since that is your first 10, because you got the first 10 days, that's your second 10 days. Now... Yeah. You've got one more set of 10 days till your barn is being built. So even with tensions high, the work is still being done.
I'll bring this up in character for the next session, but we may need, just for like logistics reasons, we may need to use Greenhawks to deliver a couple of messages for us, Çiaran, because I have a feeling we're not going back to Phlan.
I'm could cast like Animal Messenger or something.
Oh no, we physically have letters written. I assume that they're with us.
I just don't know that Greenhawks is gonna.
It's capable.
Do that. He's capable.
Okay. It's just a thought, because we need to pay rent, and we might not be going back to Phlan, especially if we have a. But just bringing that up for thinking about as a group.
Greenhawks can do anything. Don't put it past that bird. Yeah. He's incredible.
Yeah, no. He's capable. I just don't know that he wants to.
Valid.
You
Well,
know, at least
what animal
you know what
friendship?
kind of payment he accepts.
Yeah, I'll try to bribe him with a nice juicy stack of eyeballs.
That
Because the idea realistically would be to try and get a note with a key to the guild house to Lila, so that she can pay off rent and take care of a few things if we're going to be out of town for a few days.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I can spend a little bit of time hunting to get payment for Green Hawk, so that Green Hawks can be willing to do this.
Just send her a letter that's just like, hey, by the way, you have the job, you start now, pay for us, please, bye!
If we can't get back to Phlan, it's what we're going to have to do. So we'll see if that's the case. I'm just throwing the idea out there, basically.
yeah, you know, you
Worst case scenario, yeah.
you know that like you know, you guys will do whatever it is you have to do. However, you're like, ooh, you know, we do have these horses, and we don't want to be gone with them too terribly long. As long as they come back, sure, that's fine. But also, you do know that there are two ways to get to. Alder would know this. There's two ways to get to King's Pyre. You can make the trek along the Phlan path, or the Iron Route, my bad, and do that all the way down. It's about the same distance away from King's Pyre is about the same distance away as the crossing in is from Phlan on the east side of things. So it's a bit of a trek. However, you can also take a ship down that a ways, which is also a possibility. So just I will say that's good information just for you guys to have
be thinking definitely
to be thinking about whether or not you want to do that.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank you for the relevant information, Dom.
Yeah, both of those are relevant information.
We'll planning character.
Yeah.
We'll figure out the full planning character next time, but yeah, I like to get thinking about logistics. You guys know me.
No, that's important information, and that does really that does kind of shape how you guys go about this, whether you go in by land or by sea. One if by land, two if by sea. So that's
3 if by fuck you.
3 if by I don't know, the Eagles.
We pray really, really hard to all of our gods and just hope one of them puts us someplace cool.
They drop you right in the middle of King's Pyre Lap, right in the middle of negotiations, in the middle of 2 outlaw groups. You're there.
Hey, hi, Sand. Stab.
Stab. Oh wait, no. And Reyn's like, you forgot, we can't do a stab on him. Just everybody cure wounds.
I mean, we get paid if he comes back dead still. So
luckily, yeah, it's a no matter if you guys lose, you still win as long as you bring the body back. Whether it's alive or dead, you're still getting paid as long as the body's back. 500 gold pieces. You lose the body, well then you guys are in a world of hurt on so many different levels.
Yeah, I'm just hoping to bring him back alive to make Chab happy.
Siren's just trying to think of a way to utilize the fact that one of his super important people is deathly afraid of a screech owl.
Deathly afraid of a screech owl, and we approach the big one from the left.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I wrote that
down. What? It's a screech owl. Oh no!
and then Reyn is just like step.
Yeah, I've a thug known as Little Eric. I'm sure he'll be tiny.
Oh no, he's also gonna be a big one. Son of a bitch. They're all big.
Damn it, they're all... What are they feeding them on the Iron Route?
Yeah.
Dom.
Yes.
In game rules, are moon elves the same as high elves, or?
Moon elves, yeah, are like... It's like, like, London to Wales. Like, you're all part of the UK, but you're different things.
Okay.
Yeah, moon elves have their own culture, there are moon elf places. Like there's sun elves, moon elves, wood elves, high elves. Sometimes they can be synonymous with high elves as sun elves, and then wood elves as moon elves.
Got it.
It just kind of depends on the place in the world.
Yeah, it's
kind
similar
of.
with dwarves with mountains and shields and stuff like that.
Yeah,
'cause-
they're all dwarves, and like it's easiest just to be like mountain or hill dwarves. But
I
also,
like shield dwarves and Faerun. It's a nicer term.
yeah, I mean the most famous dwarves are from Mithril Hall that you know of, and you know that the clans of Iron's like real home bases there. Ooh, also, what you would know, I want to flavor some of the context of your cousin's marriage on a couple different things that you would know intrinsically as a dwarf and as a member of the clan of Iron. One, that they will never have kids. Dwarves and elves cannot procreate. It's a sad fact of their biologies is that there are no such thing as dwelves or earves. 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 I like that. So they, unfortunately, in this campaign setting, I'm not sure if it's, and typically, dwarves and elves cannot procreate. So you know that both of their lines stop right there. Secondly, that because the line stops there, that for Rold, the big reason he was probably stopped being a member of the Lord's Alliance is that his claim to being a clan of Iron also ends.
Oh yeah,
That he
may be in the family, but he has no clan rights if he can't continue the line.
Yeah, because he, from a very real perspective, cannot follow the decree of Muradin. He might be able to keep a forge warm, but he cannot have a family from that. So that's why that's such a big deal. Sarah, well, she's her own. You realize you're like, I don't know a ton about Sarah, all things considered, but you do know that you and Rold, and minus other members, are probably the only ones that know that she used to be a rather high-ranking member of the Harpers. That is not public knowledge. Like, if you walked around and you're like, hey, have you heard Sarah's a member of the Harpers? A, nobody would know, and B, she'd be very, very mad at you. So she also, because of that and the closeness to the Lord's Alliance, is probably, and just the kind of the stressors and tragedies that befelt these last 5 years is probably why the Harpers lost a lot of power in the Moonsea. You already figured it's because of that, but this is the context of it. So it's
for sure.
It was a big deal that they chose that, which makes it an even bigger deal that they're both being called back to Waterdeep.
Oh god, that gives a shit ton of context to the fact that they're being called back to their factions.
They're being called
Holy
back,
shit.
and let's throw an extra ring into the context, is that the Emerald Enclave also got activated at Crypt Garden, which is not super far away from Waterdeep as well. That all these factions are starting to kind of turn back on.
They're dealing with the fucking dragon infestation.
That is those are all important context pieces that I didn't want anybody to miss, and everybody can, as players, should know that. So
Got it. Wow. Okay.
Add some levels to that.
Yeah, because you had said that the Emerald Enclave was working with other organizations.
They
and
are.
That kind of answers that right there.
The Crypt Garden is and Sierra knows that if her dad had to personally go there, it's a big deal. That whatever is happening in the Crypt Garden, if not only did her dad go there, but that they're working in tandem with some of the other factions, that like whatever's happening in the Crypt Garden Forest is big news. So that none of that, none of that would be that is player knowledge or character knowledge that you guys should know as players. So
there we go.
So yes,
Cool.
for your characters, you're like, and you can. You have a pretty good idea of that all that kind of going down.
Cool.
Yeah, and I will say it is likely that all Sarah enrolled will have been gone by the time you return back to Phlan, all things considered.
I'm glad I got one more chance to talk to them before they do. That's really all I needed.
So you will, who knows who might be at their abode the next time you check in.
Oh, right, because I am going to check it every once in a while just to see. That'll be a fun round robin of new characters. Awesome.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
friends.
that's all the context I think I need for now.
Cool. I am going to get off and go make myself some food. I'll see you all on Tuesday.
See you on Tuesday.
See ya. Take care.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna switch over and start playing some heroes, bud.
Okie dokie. Stream, thanks for listening and learning some of that context. As
Thank
always.
you, stream.
Thanks, Stream. Rob is
Big
doing
stream.
things. I will, if people want videos on YouTube of these things, well then apparently I'm gonna need to get on YouTube and start making these things. So, I will work on that. Thanks, Rob is doing things, for asking. If there's a demand, I will give the supply. So, bye, Stream.